Hi guys. Folks were in my DMs saying they were bored, so I decided to do a space and see how everybody's doing. I know it's been a rough day. I hope everyone's in a slightly better mental place after this afternoon's contest. I hope we've all reached some zen and considered our plans for the new year. I want to wish you all a happy New Year's Eve. And if anybody wants to request and talk about anything, and I mean anything, feel free, because I have absolutely no agenda whatsoever other than wishing you all a happy New Year. I've been spending the last 20 minutes explaining to my wife, who is wonderful and an engineer, i.e., someone who works in logic, how college football works. And needless to say, there's smoke coming out of her ears because she is from a world of science and logic, two things that college football aggressively does not believe in. I bring this up because I'm watching the Ohio State-Georgia game. But yeah, no, hope folks are feeling better. I know the basketball game wasn't great. I'm not really worried about it long term. Tip your cap to Xavier. Good team. You learn from it. Now we get to find some stuff out. Kind of fun. So, if anybody has any thoughts, feel free to request. Otherwise, I'll sit here in silence. We can do that too. Free world. Trying to get hot balls in. Don't worry. Don't worry. I'm trying to provide a little bit of entertainment to take out 2022. Other than me just speaking into my phone for the 45th time since November 1st. This guy hot balls. He sends a lot of tweets, but does he show up in the space? No. Let's see if we can bully him in. Let me see if I can bully the fat man. Join the space dickhead. Okay, let's see if that gets his attention. Let's see. Want to shout out my guy Basil, who's in here. Basil did a great job in the earlier space. Let's see. Get him in here. You seem kind of hot.
You just can't help yourself right now, can you?
No, of course not. If everybody's gonna say how bored they are, then I'm gonna fuck around and find out. Let's. What other way can we end this year than the way we've spent 95% of it?
I don't like you, but you have a point.
Yeah, you're getting like more pissed off about the game as the hours go on. It's wild. I'm like more meh about it. You seem angry.
I'm not pissed. I'm not pissed about it at all. I'm bummed about it.
Yeah, no, be bummed.
But there's some takes that I'm pissed about.
Yes.
Like Jeff Goodman's whole thing about, well, he needs to be better with the rest. I'm like, okay, I get it. Like, yes, Dan needs to stop playing with fire and sticking his finger in the shark's mouth, expecting them not to bite it. But guess what? If an official is coming into a game with a shorter leash for one coach over another because his stupid feelings are hurt, then that's an even bigger problem. And that's a problem that needs to be addressed by the commissioner of the conference, right? And so I don't really give a crap what the officials think about what Dan Hurley does or thinks or says to them. That's not their job to care about what he says or thinks about them. And it doesn't matter that they're tired of his act. That's their job to deal with that. And so if they want to go and deal with it when he gets over the top and do that kind of stuff, but if you've already got two bullets in the chamber and the guy's head in the crosshairs before we're even walking into an arena, that's ridiculous. And I get it, and I kind of, I thought Tom Penders brought up a really, really good point earlier tonight with the tweet. I think he was right when he was talking about like when you're teeing guys up with 2 minutes left in a 1-2 game in the Big East Conference in a one possession game. Like, what are we doing?
Well, and this
Like,
was my point on. I jumped on one of the. I
what,
wanted to jump on Cap X's space to try and. I mean, I'm not going to be the idiot, the dick that only spaces when we're 14-0 and then runs and hides. I just literally couldn't jump on post game. I wanted to give them props, but like, what, what? Could somebody explain to me? I'm not saying that it's not. I'm not saying it's incapable of Dan Hurley to take a really bad, really stupid technical foul late in the game. I'm not going to say he's not. Could somebody who's mad about it tell me what he did? Because I haven't seen what he did. It hasn't been described what he did, but everybody is mad about it. So what? You're believing the ref crew over the head coach that we're all fucking ride or die with?
well, he said that he said unbelievable to the ref, but he'd also called them effing clowns.
He did.
And he called another guy, and it was on camera a peckerhead. That's probably not a way to endear yourself to basketball referees giving you a long leash.
And
However,
before Dobb jumps in, I just want to mention you mentioned Goodman. Goodman, I listened. By the way, excellent. I want to thank you. You did a great job with the post game space. Appreciate it. Listen to the whole thing. Okay, because I'm a total sicko. You mentioned ESPN. It wasn't ESPN. The thing earlier this year with the funny here, like look here, Dan Hurley literally has written "Coach your team" on his wrist. That wasn't ESPN. That was Jeff Goodman. Jeff Goodman was the guy who tweeted that out. So Jeff Goodman is acutely aware that Dan Hurley is trying to work on this shit. So what
we
is
did. He
the
talked about it. He
is
talked
the
about it.
deal?
He actually talked about it on his little recap thing tonight.
Right.
And
So is he supposed to get a fucking DeLorean and fix the last 5 years? Is that what Dan Hurley's supposed to do? He, unlike me right now, he's been much calmer this year. He's been very fucking calm and rational. You can do that. You're 14-0. You win every game by double digits. But he's been very calm. Like, what's he supposed to do about the last 5 years? Can somebody explain to me why that's supposed to matter?
well, it's not even just that wasn't even the worst take tonight. The other take that got me, that sent me tonight, and it came up again, dude. Dan Hurley in close games. We've beaten, what is it now? 6, 7 quad 1, quad 2 teams, blown them out.
Yeah. Yeah, no, what we should have done the whole time,
The
hot
best
balls.
way to be a really good close game coach is to never play close games.
Yeah, no, hot
Just want
balls.
to throw that out there.
That's the mistake we made. We should have like fucking just choked away the Florida game. Apparently, we should
Yeah,
have just.
we've got to prove that we can get it done because some head on Twitter is losing his mind about whether or not we can play a close game or not. Like, just.
And by the way, first of all, did not lose because of the refs. Straight up, I think even if the T isn't called, I think Xavier wins that game. They were
No,
better.
100%. They
Full
shot
stop.
56% tonight. It was ridiculous.
Full
And
stop.
look, credit to them. Credit to them. They didn't turn. I talked about this earlier. They didn't turn the ball over, and you and I have broken down what the scenario has to look like.
Yep.
Somebody has to do something that they do really well, even better than they normally do it. Check. They have to do something that they normally don't do very well, better than they've ever done it. Check. We have to do something we do really well at an exceedingly poor level. Check, and maybe check between the shooting and I was more worried about us defensively tonight. I thought we looked like caca. We just
Yeah.
missed a lot of open shots. Alex Caravan missed 2 or
Yeah.
3 wide open shots. Tristan Newton missed 2 or 3 open threes. Like we must have missed 10, like 8 to 10 wide open shots that were created through ball movement and our sets and look great. And some of them were even second chance shots where we got the offensive rebound, kicked it, and then missed it again. Like those games happen. Like they are what they are. And instead, people are looking at the Andre Jackson 4 for 12 performance from 3-point line in a game where he literally was like 2 assists or two rebounds away from another triple double. Like what? There was things I could like nitpick, like I would have liked to have seen Andre and Alex need to be, when things get up and down like that, they've got to be the guys feeding Adama Sanogo, not Tristan and Hassan and everybody else that we had feeding him tonight. We needed to take much better care of some important possessions. We got it to a one possession game and we got to stop. We immediately football passed the basketball up the court underneath the basket to Adama Sanogo in a terrible spot instead of just slowing it down and running a set and scoring. Like there was little things that we did, but like all those check mark things that we said, all those check box things that we talked about that need to happen for us to lose and another team to win, all happened, man. Like that's college basketball. It's
Yeah,
college basketball. It's all it is. Like it happens. And so it all came together. It was a cocktail. We lost the game. Man, darn, we only have won 14 out of 15 games.
yeah.
Man,
Yeah,
awful.
I
Terrible.
think it's real like empty calories. Like let's have chocolate cake. I shouldn't make this reference because it's Bill fucking Cosby, but let's all have chocolate cake for breakfast. Like
Yep.
the thing that changed the game happened with 3 minutes ago. Wasn't the Hurley technical? It was that UConn on 4 straight possessions. The guard play was a complete fucking car crash. That's what changed the game. That's why it went from a 2 point game to a 5 point game to an 8 point game to a 10 point game because UConn started drop kicking the ball all over. But and my issue with the Hurley thing, honestly, it's in house. I'm more the only people I'm upset with are UConn fan takes about it. You don't get to spend 4 years being all in, and everybody is on crazy Dan Hurley, and the energy and the wildness and everything comes with it. And then you get the technical today, and suddenly you think he's got to get rein it in. Like I mean, you've got
Stop. I
some
know. Who gives a
nerve
shit?
for
Yeah, that's fucking to me it's bonkers too.
like
I don't
the guy's come this far by being that way. He said year one. This is the stuff I do year one, and I stopped doing it, and he has largely stopped doing it. He literally took. We joke about he said it's coming. We because with the Nova game, he said year one after like wins over like Syracuse, who was awful and stuff. Oh yeah, no, I'm not going to be this crazy later. I have to do this now to try and get energy into the program. He was crazy the whole time and it was fine. Today he gets technical with 4 minutes to go. We don't even know why. It wasn't shown on TV. And it's this guy's got he's got reined it in. It's so it's so disingenuous. And it's not that I don't think he should be crazy all the time. And I'm not saying he can't do something to cost him a game. But I don't think today that's not what cost him the game. That's what people want to say because it's a thing they can yell at because nobody can really say it didn't. Like it's such a like God forbid people said Xavier was good. Like you could always do that instead of going after the coach that has taken this fucking program from being like 140 on Ken Palm to number 2. But people have short fucking memories, you know. Like meanwhile we could have been Houston today, who's a really good team, fighting tooth and nail against Central Florida on a streaming service. That's the other possibility, guys. So that's my thing. Like I don't like that he got the technical. I'm not like excusing it per se, but to see UConn fans who are like, "Oh, Dan Hurley's got to, he can't do that." Like of all the fucking people to say that, man. Like whose fucking side are you on? Jesus
yeah.
Christ. Like by the way, if Dan Hurley's getting banged with a tee in a 2 point game with 3 minutes to go, I don't know. Maybe Dan Hurley's not the fucking problem there, guys. But possibly let's think that maybe the guys who have called the game like 4 fouls to 1 rate, maybe that played a role. It's not why they lost. Xavier executed. The refs didn't tell UConn to throw the ball into the ocean the last 4 minutes at the guard spot. But like, I'm kind of excited in that now we've joked hot balls not good for content, not good for content. Well, we got content now. They learned some stuff, and like also the fans who are, and I think this is interesting about like people who don't like the way the guards were employed late in the game. I heard some of it on the space, and I agree with that. Well, now we have an example of why that maybe should be changed. We aggressively didn't have that until today. So if you don't like the way the guards were used, I agree. But now was the first time it didn't work. So maybe we see on Wednesday if the coaching staff adjusts, guys. Like, it's the big
Well,
kid.
it's not like you just like put the parts together and they instantly work. Like
Right.
there's some teams that have to literally try combinations over and over and over again and fail multiple times
Yeah.
at what they're trying to do before they find the combination that actually works.
And there are
Right?
things I sound like I'm hyper defensive. There are things I didn't like out of the staff today and rotation and all that, but
hundred
in
percent.
terms of my
They got
30,000
the
foot
brakes beat off
view.
of them in the last 8 minutes of the game, and
Yes.
they got caught out in between. They did. I mean, and it showed in the players too. Like Tristan Newton should have been on the floor. I
Yeah.
don't think. I get why he was. I said that in the last space. It's like because they were trying to go switch to zone every couple times up the floor to change the look up because their switching defense was trash today. So they were trying to switch the look up. You want the bigger, longer guard in the zone.
And by the
That's what you
way,
want.
that 1-3-1 zone looked really good. Like
Yeah,
if it
it
looked
worked.
if Xavier on the first possession they threw it had cut it in half,
Mm-hmm.
UConn might win the game because UConn doesn't keep doing it. UConn was forcing turnovers out of it. So they got stuck in this, oh shit, this kind of works. Fuck. What do we do?
Yeah,
You know,
and Tristan's working in the zone and not working on offense.
yeah.
So like, and now you're caught out between. He's the most fungible. Like Tristan's a funny dude because he's the one guy that like I'm not wild about him defensively, man on man, but like he's the one guy offensively that he can just do a lot of things. You know what I mean? He kind of handle the ball, kind of distribute, get to the rack, get fouled. He was in between offensively. Like I wanted somebody to just grab him by the scruff of the neck and be like, dude, when you drive to the hole, just go right to the bucket. Like, stop trying to find Jordan Hawkins. Like,
Yeah.
stop trying to find Joey Calcaterra. Like, we're not running a play script here. We're trying to score points. So, like, if they're not open, which they're not today, just go to the rack. Try to get fouled. You
There
know,
is
like you're
there is
probably going to
something
get fouled.
there is something funny about the idea that, and I don't think you're wrong, but like, remember how literally 8 months ago it was they don't run plays, they don't run plays, they don't run plays. Now they run too many plays.
Yeah,
Now they run too many
I
plays.
know. Yeah, I know. It was, and it, you know, I mean, it is what it is. Like he was all over the place offensively today, and he just, like, he's so good when he's just instinctive and goes to the rack and stops
Yeah.
trying to do too much shit. And that's such like I know this sounds kind of silly, but like that's actually kind of a good problem to have, you know, because like he's trying to make the offense work and not be Tristan Newton star of the show. You know, so like, but you can also score the basketball, you dumbass. So like, go to the fucking rack, go get your ass fouled, get to the foul line. Like, they're gonna have to start collapsing more on you. Hopefully, we can run some guys out there. There was some rotation issues that we had. Like, I wish we used, you know, Jordan and Joey out there in consort with each other a little bit more, just to get their defense moving around and chasing guys a little bit. Like, I felt like a lot of Andre, you know, being the guy stuck open was because those guys were completely blanketed and they were on the court at the same time. Whereas I think if we can get them on the court at the same time, speed things up a little bit, we're not going to be in that spot. And we'll eventually be able to get somebody or at least get guys out enough to the point where Andre or Alex can start to make that post entry pass to Sonogo. But like for the most part, whatever. I mean, I thought we were
Yeah.
pretty good offensively. We missed so many open shots today.
Yeah.
Like
I'm
so
gonna
many wide open shots. Like it's really just hard for me to sit there and be like, man, I wish we had done this, that, and the other thing. Like, well, I would have liked it if Alex Caravan hit 3 wide open threes that he missed, or Tristan Newton hit 2 or 3 of them, or like we had multiple guys that knocked down shots that missed wide open shots in abundance today. So like the I'm yes, I would rather Andre not shoot 12, 13 threes. I would also not like Andre to go running into traffic willy-nilly to try to get fouled, running into 4 or 5 guys to try to hit a mid-range floater or a jumper. Like he can't shoot threes, but you want him to hit a mid-range jumper or try to drive into traffic and look for a kick out or a pass that's not there.
well that I mean that's called the New Mexico State game. Like if we really want to fucking get dark, like that's fucking what happened. And
Right.
yeah, I'm gonna bring in Cody, OG, Owen, Tom. You all requested, thanks. I'm gonna bring folks in, but like, yeah, I was really. That's why you post game. I was actually able to tweet. I was like, I was because I was doing. I'm like, people are gonna say they shot too many threes. I'm gonna have a fucking stroke. Like maybe in the first half, UConn took one possibly ill-advised three. Every three-pointer was wide fucking open. If this team can't be allowed to take that shot and have it be a good shot, then we must really stink. I mean, Joey missed a corner three for God's sakes. Like, the, I'm not sure what the other option was that people wanted there. Like, in general, Do I wish they had driven the lane more? Maybe. I also think I said that you want to go, you want Adama. I know he's great. You want to post up Nunji and Kalkbrenner? Is that really like a much better option than a wide open Jordan Hawkins or Caravan or Joey 3? I don't think so. Like, and it's part of it's the matchup. Xavier's good. Like the stuff Xavier did, most teams in this league aggressively cannot do. So the things, if you want to be mad about today, I've got good news for you. Uh, and I think Wednesday will be tough. I don't think Providence quite has Nunji. Okay, so we'll be fine. It's a rough patch right now. It's the hardest part of the schedule. It's not a question. If UConn goes 3-2
We're,
in this
we're
patch, I think it's fine. And I know people are going to go nuts. It's going to be the funniest thing. If UConn gets through this patch at 3-2, they're I'm almost certain they're going to win the Big East title because look at their last 11 games.
we're playing the top 5 teams in the conference, and 3 of those games are on the road.
So it's kind of almost the you better get us now thing. And Xavier, to their credit, for 45 years, Hot Balls, the number 2 team in the Big East, has beaten the number 1 team in the Big East at home. It happens every fucking year. It always happens because the league's good. Because this isn't the Sun Belt. Like in a certain regard, even though I don't want to lose, I don't like losing, I hate losing. It would be pretty fucking indictful of the conference if UConn had won there today. Like at halftime, part of me was like, when UConn was up 1, I was like, this is kind of pretty bad for the league right now that UConn can.
Well, we got up 7, and I was like, uh-oh.
Yeah, I
When we
was
got
like,
up 7, I was like, uh-oh, we might put the pedal on here and blow these guys out. Of course, that didn't happen, but like, there was a portion of me that did think that at one point. But I mean, it look, and again, they didn't turn the ball. They turned the ball over at an egregious rate for this level. Like they didn't do that.
yeah,
They
their
turned us
guards
over
were
more.
really good just all
Yeah,
day.
they played really disciplined, and they shot 56%. Man, like 56%.
It's not like they
That's
were
like,
open shots either. Like the other
yeah,
team can be
they hit
good.
challenge shot. I mean, they hit shots, man. Like there's just nothing. I'm not mad about it. I don't have the bandwidth to get pissed about it. Like I tweeted about it tonight. I remember a couple of years ago, we had a really good scouting report on a team that we absolutely bitch rolled all year, and they walked 8% of the time. And our pitchers went out in a game and threw 72% strikes, somehow walked 10 guys in spite of that. And 6 of those 10 guys that we walked ended up scoring runs, and we lost 7-5.
Yeah, like it's
Like, I don't know, like our pitchers didn't pitch poorly. 72% strikes is pretty fucking good.
yeah, yeah.
Like, and
The
so
stuff
shit happens, man. That's college sports. Like, I don't know what else to say.
the only stuff I'm actually upset about isn't the game or the loss. It's the fucking totally insane and disingenuous takes off of it that are so. I'm like I'm impressed more than mad even. Like
I like that you're mad about it. This is the better you.
it
I like
is
it when you're
because it's
this
just
way.
every single take has a really easy counter that shows how stupid it is. Like the Dan Hurley thing. Like yeah, he has a temper. Well, what's he supposed to fucking do about last year? Like has he got a DeLorean somewhere? Like yeah, I'm sorry he was a whiny bitch in the past. He's been really good this year. Like if you're a ref working 5th game in 5 days and you're looking to tee him up all day, maybe he's not the problem. you know. But
Well,
anyway,
the worst was trying to tie it into the Andres technicals.
oh God, yeah, the fucking
That was another thing Goodman was talking about tonight. I was like, what do you think? Dan's like, just go out there and say whatever you want, and I'm cool with that.
yeah. No, there's nothing Dan wanted more than Andre Jackson to bitch talk Cal Neptune the other night, right as UConn had what was their biggest lead of the game. He was fucking thrilled Andre did that. He probably gave him $20 after the game. He was so happy that it went from a 10-point game to a 1-point game right after that.
What an
Jesus Christ.
absolutely insane take. You know what I mean? And like, and here's the other thing on top of it. Maybe Andre didn't even say something bad. Maybe the referee just had itchy trigger finger. Like, you don't know what he said. We know what he said now, and it was pretty funny. But like,
Well, I love that.
come
Well, you
on,
just can't do that. Well, can't,
why not?
this is
Here's
the
the other thing that
fucking.
I'm tired about. And this just brings up another point, dude. This is the Big East Conference. I was screaming it the other night. It got me so mad. Like, just as a side note, I think Val Ackerman's a pretty sensational commissioner on the whole. Right, basketball Hall of Famer. She's great.
Yeah, and by the
But
way, if Kevin Warren does get the Bears job, yikes time for me because the Big Ten is going to be looking at her. I think because she's that good.
yeah, no, she's really good. But yeah, man, like I would like the conference to start thinking a little bit more about the entertainment value of the conference. And this isn't just a refs thing, although it is. I think there's something to, like I think there's something to be said. Like we're seeing some pretty aggressive home run splits right now, which you always will see to a degree, right? In college basketball, you're always going to get a home whistle. It's just very rarely does that not happen. It's just college basketball, but they're pretty. I mean, we're seeing some crazy numbers like Providence and Marquette, us and Xavier tonight. Like worth keeping an eye on, not freaking out about, but like maybe you got to mix up your officiating rotation a little bit. But like, why are officials teeing guys up with 2 minutes left to go? Right, and this is getting back to the Penders tweet. You know what I mean? Like the time, TV times a games, like having conversations with Fox about like how do you make this a better entertainment product, right? Um, I feel like the conference, is fun as it still is. It's lacking that edge, man, as an entertainment product, as to what made it such compelling TV for a long time, and that's a big part of it.
Hey, Hot Balls,
Really,
did you enjoy at tuning in at 11:45 this morning on the Fox pregame and seeing them do a full North Carolina breakdown?
yeah. I mean, like, who
Who gives
cares?
a flying fuck?
Like, who cares about what North Carolina's personality disorder of the day is? Like, that's the kind of stuff that needs work.
Yeah.
It really needs work. Like, and it needs somebody that. And I get it; it's kind of a different time, and the Big East cultural influence in a lot of ways in college basketball is certainly marginalized compared to what it used to be, right? But like, no TV network exec wants a product to be boring and shitty, right? So like as a commissioner or as a league, like I want to see us stepping up a little bit more and letting these guys tee it high and let it fly. Like it's a little too Catholic school, man. It really is. Like it's kind of lost that that edge. And watching guys get teed up because he drains a three and then like motions to the bench and says something. What the come on?
And by the
What are
way,
we playing here?
imagine thinking that like that's going to be a lesson for Andre Jackson that he's going to build off of. Like, really, guys? Like,
Does anybody watch the NBA and watch what happens at the NBA level? Like this isn't a good young men's academy we're running here anymore, right? Like these are professional athletes essentially. They're getting paid now.
it's
They're
the
signing
most
NIL deals.
it's the most popular the NBA's ever been. And you know what they don't do? Give a remote shit about any of this stuff. You can't tell me
Ever.
that's not this guy. Nice coverage from Ohio State. Jesus Christ. Anyway, I want to bring in some folks. I want to thank everybody who's requested and been patient. Uh, Maybe we could talk about resolutions for the new year. And I know one man who, about 3 minutes into his game today, resolved to join me at the Rock in 2 weeks, rooting for UConn, was Cody. Cody, are you still going to be rooting on the Huskies there at the Rock in a couple of Wednesdays?
I don't think he's here, man.
He's probably too busy being drunk over Arsenal. All right. Well, I tried to let Cody in. I will.
He was here. I don't see him here.
No, I see him in here and he's unmuted. He's probably going nuts over this Ohio State game because he's fucking somehow it
I
placed
see him as a
against.
listener because this website is probably broken again.
Okay, that's fair. I'm gonna bring in OG Tony Spokes, or I'm gonna try anyway. We'll see. OG, what you got, brother? All right, 2 for 2. I'm just gonna keep going. All right, Cody. I'll bring Cody. Cody requested again. I'll try and bring Cody back. Famous last.
Spaces is broken. See, you're not on my superior internet network. So
Yeah, you paid Elon. We get it. All right.
my superior network of bandwidth and power and peak male performance.
Yeah, we've seen some interesting athletic feats this week, ladies and gentlemen, haven't we? All right. I'll keep going. I'm gonna skip Yuli for a sec because Owen was here first, and Owen is a good God-fearing Yankee fan, so I'm a supporter of his. Owen, what do you got?
Nothing really much. You guys hit a lot of my nails on the head. The one thing that I would like to address is, hey Fox, can you show replays of fouls, please? Like
We
we
didn't.
never got a replay of the Jordan charge at all, and that to me is probably what set Danny off because it probably was a block. Like the previous one in the first half was a flop, and they could not call a charge correctly all day long.
Well, it was weird to me, and this is I am bringing it up because this is the sort of nerdy thing only I would care about, and I'm compromised for reasons Hot Balls knows, but like a little weird to me. It goes to Hot Ball's point. A little weird to me that I was looking around because I was curious who was calling the UConn game, like on TV, and like we didn't get Raftery or now we can make all the jokes about Bill Raftery on New Year's Eve that we want, but like Bill Raftery doesn't do a Big East game on New Year's Eve.
Well,
Gus Johnson is not doing a game. Like,
the thing with Raftery is Raftery on weekends is monopolized by CBS
oh, so he's
because
stuck on
on
that fucking
Saturdays and Sundays his contract is with CBS because
ah,
he has CB because he's the number one college basketball color guy for both networks, and
which
because
means he was
CBS
stuck on the
controls
Kentucky
March
game.
Madness, he has to do the CBS game. It's the same reason why he goes and does the Big Ten championship every year rather than doing the Big East final.
Right. So
Although
was
he'd
he?
rather be doing the Big East final.
I had a very weird. I mean, it was kind of cool in its own way. I had a weird feed of the Kansas Oklahoma State game, which was awesome, by the way.
That game was nuts.
And it was the crowd only. Was that the one Raftery was on? Because I know it was CBS.
No, that was Rich Waltz, former play-by-play of the Miami Marlins, and Clark Kellogg.
Rich is great. Please do not tell me Bill was stuck on Kentucky Louisville.
Yes, he was, along with Jay
Oh,
Wright and I think Tom McCarthy, but I could be wrong. I didn't watch that game because I was watching ours.
because fucking why would you? I actually thought about jumping all over Louisville because it was just way too many points. I should have done it. But like that's a college basketball. What are we doing? Like, does anybody realize that Kentucky Louisville's not going to be a competitive game? Maybe we don't have like hot balls. I was on about this. Like Fox wants
www.brand.brand.lolbrand.com.
like
Definitely.
Fox wants to do a Saturday night primetime college basketball package. Cool, awesome, weird. The sport doesn't rate. It's got very old demos, but I'm in favor of it. All right, UConn's on it once. Like they are ranked number 2. Like what the fuck are we doing? And then
But
we wonder why the sport has like declining demographics. Like it's the baseball shit. Like it's
mhm. Hurley, the thing though is college basketball has always been programmed that the primetime game, the biggest games occur at noon, though, on weekends,
that's
which
largely
is
true.
which is part of the problem why they're not sticking us in the primetime slot is because the primetime slot is kind of reserved for either the West Coast or it's reserved for the games that most people don't really want to watch
Yeah,
because they're watching other stuff.
and to be fair, they do also
And it's
have
it's eventually competing against the ESPN game, which is kind of their marquee uh, game with Billis and Shulman on the call.
right. So yeah, but it's just we talk about it in terms of the Big East, but there's so many things marketability. The problem is, see, unlike baseball, everybody talks about what baseball needs to do for marketability. Nobody talks about it for college basketball because let's be honest, like it's actually an incredibly niche sport.
Mm-hmm.
But it's
Mm-hmm.
like it's also not horse racing, man. Like you'd wish somebody was paying. They just need to make such little tweaks, common sense wise, and just like everything else, college sports, it won't happen. I
Yeah,
think Cody's
and
got his. Oh, go ahead, Owen. Finish your point.
the technicals thing, like I get that he shouldn't have it happen, but if you're not going to call like for the two Andre ones, those were the weirdest technicals ever. And I think that's part of the reason Danny also is a little chapped at the refs is that they're calling technicals when they shouldn't be calling technicals at all. Like, guy just drains a 3 in a guy's face, and he gets teed up for saying one word. So
Well,
it's
that's
just
where
that everyone has rabbit ears right now, and they need to turn them off.
Well, that's what kills me about it, because like if your point is that Danny talks too much about stuff, like, okay, oh wait, so with 2 minutes to go is when we're going to decide to dish out the like. If you want to bang Dan Hurley for a T for beating too bitchy, fucking bang him in the first half. Then he'll shut up.
He was calling him a peckerhead with 13 minutes left to go in the game. Like, tee him up then.
Well,
Totally justifiable to tee
that's
him
what
up.
Calhoun used to do when he
Like,
wanted to fire up his team. Is he'd get teed up and they call a timeout,
Right,
like in the
and the
first
same
5
people
minutes
who
when they weren't playing well.
yeah,
And then it didn't affect them down the stretch. He'd already gotten teed up. He knew not to get teed up again because then he'd get tossed. And it would get everyone fired up.
yeah, it's best case scenario for everyone. That's why it blows my mind that like you're gonna let him do it for 38 minutes and then do it. Like, how is that better for you? Just do it in the second. Do it 5 minutes in the second half. He'll shut up. It'll be beautiful. Like, you won't have to worry about it. I don't
Yeah, and then
understand
it doesn't have an impact on the final score. Like, it
Right.
isn't in the most crucial part of the game.
Yeah.
It's at a point where, if it mattered 13 minutes left in the game, you weren't playing well enough to have it now matter.
I saw Cody put his hand up. Cody, roll wave. Let's go TU tomorrow. What's up?
Hey, yo, what's up, Hurley? You want to talk about the prime time game of the fucking day? It was Seton Hall and St. fucking John's. Yes, I may be a little
I
tipsy
can't
on
tell.
UC. But let me tell you, St. John's, holy fuck. Those guys, I mean, we thought they were bad. When you see them in person, oh my God, you're going to really throw the fuck up. Those guys, it's Soriano. That's it. It's Soriano from the elbow, and he can't do shit otherwise. We, had 9 block shots the second half. Kadari went off.
He
Your
did.
wish happened,
That's
Hurley.
true.
Kadari went off. I'll tell you what. And we were down 11. I brought my friend and his dad to the game. I was like, I am so sorry for what you're about to watch. In the first 10 minutes, there was 8 points scored. And we were down by 9. It was looking bad. But all of a sudden, Mike Anderson said something. He probably told his guys to keep playing hard. And they said, fuck that. We're not going to play hard. We fucking hate you, dude. And they just started breaking the shit out of every shot. Let me tell you, Seton Hall University is back on the map. Shaw's plan. This is what it was all about. UConn lost and Seton Hall won on the same day. I didn't think it would happen this year. But damn it, it
gained a
happened.
game in the
And
standings. I'm looking over my shoulder, Cody.
if we beat Creighton, guess what? We have DePaul, Butler, and Georgetown. And that's not in that exact order, but that's what we have next. We could be 5-3, realistically. All of a sudden, it looks like Seton Hall is back on the rails at least. Not going forward, maybe going backwards, but we're on the rails. That's all I want.
Cody, I love the energy. Go steal someone's car tonight. Help yourself at the same time. You still gonna join me and root for UConn at the Rock in a couple weeks? Because about 3 minutes in today, you sent some very incriminating text messages that I do have.
You do. Listen, I will probably be up there with you just to join you. I will be at the UConn game because my friends and I are driving up there. I just
Love
need a
it.
ticket,
Love
but I
it.
probably have one. But no, I was checking UConn. I was really watching UConn game first 10 minutes in because our game was dog shit. But then we started doing good. And Arsenal won again today, so fuck Manchester City. They fucking
They do.
suck. That's
They
the
do.
side
That
note.
is correct. I
But
know that's why you're actually drunk. This is unbelievable. But no, I'm glad you're coming up, man. I'm glad you're bringing other people so you have other car options. But yeah, get the tickets early would be my suggestion because you know what? Tonight's probably a good night. Maybe all the UConn fans, everyone's fucking pissed off. Maybe the ticket prices went down a little.
honestly, no, we lost to Xavier by 3. We should have won that game if we made our free throws. I don't know how that game went. I really don't know because I didn't really watch it. But I can kind of get a general sense what I saw on Twitter. But I'm fucking sad. You guys obviously it's a loss. You were waiting for it. I get it because no one goes this season undefeated. And the only thing it means is it sucks to be a Providence fucking Friar fan because they're gonna get fucked over. I will bet UConn spread line because that is probably the lock of the century right now.
Yeah.
Because I don't think this team coming off a loss, I don't want to do
Yeah.
that. I don't want to bet
Weird
against
shit always happens to us in that building when we're allowed into it. But yeah, no, thank you, Cody. Listen, have a happy New Year. Please have a driver or an Uber or a rickshaw or something.
Nah, I'm staying the night at whatever place I'm at. I have a driver already, so I am golden. So I'm drinking. I came in here with a bottle of Jack. It's already 3/4 of the way gone, and I've been the only one drinking it. So.
Let's go. Yeah, Tulane's gonna roll your boys tomorrow, though.
Shut the fuck up! I have them USC -2. Yo, Hurley, I had a parlay. Get this. It was a parlay. Tennessee plus 6.5. Alabama
Nice.
-7.5. But the other two are Michigan and
That's
Georgia.
not nice.
And literally, I told my friend I got Michigan, and then I started shitting
How
the bed.
much do you
So
hate
fuck Michigan.
Harbaugh right now?
I mean, but like, here's my rule with gambling: if I bet you in the spread, if you don't cover, then both of us lose. So at least Michigan lost, so both of us lose. I like that. If they won and didn't cover, I'd be pissed.
Please tell me you have a heavy boatload on Mississippi State tomorrow, at least.
Well, I mean, you have to because Mike Leach died.
Right. That was.
I mean,
what
it's
I
the
was
general.
going.
It's the general principle, Hurley. Like, think about it. Diego Maradona died in 2020. The next major tournament was the World Cup, so you had to bet on Argentina. That was the gamble.
I did. I told you I had lots of futures. I had Argentina like 7 ways. It was wonderful.
But whenever there's a significant death, if it's just to a certain player, then shut the fuck up, Ryan. I'm on Twitter. Sorry.
This is such a South Orange New Year's.
I'm in Pennsylvania, but yeah, I might as well be South Orange. Fucking hell. Actually, yeah, I went to the game and then I stopped by my old building. I was like, fuck it. But no, my friend's dad literally paid for the pregame beer, so like I had a fucking ball. And then once I watched St. John's play, I mean, Jesus Christ, they're so fucking dog shit.
Cody,
I mean, they really are.
I was looking today. The cheapest ticket at the Rock is like $50.
Huh?
Should I wait or should I just take that?
So like, what I normally tell you is because like at the end of the but you guys are like highly ranked. That's the difference. But if it was like, because like I have on one DePaul fan, he's coming to the game and he's like, should I wait? I'm like, wait, because we never sell out DePaul. And like if you wait for like the last hour, you'll get a ticket for like $10. Like honest to God, it'll be in the corners, but it's $10 fucking bucks. So like, but UConn might be different. So it might sell. It probably will sell out. If you guys.
Well, what I couldn't believe is they didn't open the upper deck. Like I just assumed, Cody, you guys would be opening the whole building. That was my mistake.
See, they do that before the season even starts. That's when they plan that shit. That's the problem.
There's no they can't like last minute open
like,
the upper.
Like remember so it was it was the last time I played UConn at home. They had the upper. They usually have the upper deck open for Nova. That's usually the only game. Now, when my sophomore year, they had Michigan State open, and then they the only other game they had besides Villanova and Michigan State was UConn. So, being Tyler, you are one of the few teams that can actually get our upper decks open.
All right. Well, I might just jump on tonight and buy the. I mean, look, if it's only the lower deck, all the seats are good anyway. So 50.
Listen, if you can't find a ticket, I will get you a student ticket, and you can just come to the section and just go wild. Fuck it, I don't care. I will defend you.
You basically told me today you're rooting for UConn in that game anyway. So like,
I mean, like after today, I feel like what we did with Kansas. We can give you a fight in the first half. Once it gets to the second half, forget about it. But
I know it's gonna be that game's gonna be a battle. Don't think I think we're getting some fucking walk in the park. Canary's gonna do the steroids or whatever again. That game's gonna be tough, man. It's the Big East. All the games are tough. Unless you're playing Georgetown, basically. And then you just kind of wait for Georgetown to occur.
That's true.
I have you back in there. Can we discuss the all-time body language out of the Georgetown Hoyas last night?
Pretty bad. I'm just glad that Georgetown Roulette is still on.
It's amazing. It's unbelievable.
Who called it, JT? Was that JP Carlosimo that called it?
I would never take credit for something that brilliant.
I can't.
They
so
still
good.
have not won a game
so
with fans in the stands and us in the conference. In conference play.
It's insane. Like I want to be clear. I'm fucking terrified of it. Like
everybody is. Everybody's terrified. If you're not terrified of Georgetown Roulette, and you're a fan of a Big East team, because they're gonna get somebody.
They are. They have to.
They're going. They're gonna get. I think it might be St. John's. You think it'll be St. John's?
Oh well, I know what I want it to be. I mean, is there any goddamn question? And today was why. Can you imagine if it's Villanova?
Oh,
That fan. Look, I went after our fans a little bit earlier. Whatever. Everyone's fine. Everyone's bitchy today, but it's like harmless. The Villanova fans online are fucking insane right now.
they need
Like, I'm so glad
they got to
Chris
get a
was at a.
grip, man.
I'm
That's
so glad Chris was at a wedding for his family today, full 40, because some of these fucking people, holy shit.
yeah, dude. It's bad. I mean, Villanova Twitter is a very toxic place right now. But this is what happens, man. Like, welcome back to Earth. This is life after a Hall of Fame coach. Like, you just don't replace that. But then the other thing is, like, it's not even Kyle Neptune's fault. Like,
Exactly. That's
what is
why
he
it's
supposed to do?
insane.
Like, make Chris Archidiacono like a serviceable high major college basketball player? They don't have a point guard. Like, their two best players were both injured, and one had an absolutely catastrophic injury that he may or may not be good coming back from. Like, they just don't have enough bullets in the chamber, man. Like, it is what it is. And look, we talked about this a little bit when we were talking about Jay Wright retiring. I think a part of the reason that Jay Wright retired is because the portal stuff, the way that they have run things in that program for years, isn't going to work anymore. Like like the Brizzy kid, like not shocked at all.
Yeah.
Like
Well, and I
there's
don't
just
want to gas you up too much, but your Kentucky take was fucking amazing last night. Like you've been saying it, but I love that you're just banging it into the ground until people fucking figure this out.
yeah.
Like,
And you know what? I got admissions out of it from T.O. and Doster today while I was on their live watch thing.
yeah, because if you
But
take 5
It's the
minutes
truth.
and they realize it's not just trolling, when you actually explain, it's like, wait, no, actually, this is
But they're
very
on it
obvious.
too. I'll give the national media credit. I know I don't do that a lot. They're on it. Everybody
Yeah,
knows. Everybody
yeah.
knows, man. Like it
so,
just when
sorry to
you're loud.
interrupt, but Hurley and HotBalls, did you guys see? Not to go too far down a Tom Izzo rabbit hole, but did you guys see his spiel on transfers and all that stuff and NIL?
Oh no,
Which
I didn't. What did
No.
Tom
kind of gets
Izzo,
into
the guy
Jay
who
Wright.
yes.
You brought up Jay Wright, and it made me think about it. But there's a clip going around TikTok and other video platforms where it's basically like he talks about how how guys in his program are different than other programs, and how basically he likes the guy who stays because that's what happened with Cassius Winston and all those guys. So, but you're talking about Villanova kind of had it trigger in my mind, so that's kind of why I wanted to
It's
bring
just
it up, even though it's a little
hard to run.
background.
There are guys out there that will be willing to like be in a program like that. Absolutely. We've got guys in our program that are like that.
Yeah.
And Villanova does and Michigan State does that. There's guys that are willing to do that. It's just there's guys that aren't,
Remember
and
when
they're going to
you
get
remember when
in.
Tom Izzo spent 7 weeks dragging out trying to get the Cleveland Cavaliers job? That's the Tom Izzo that likes loyalty. Okay, sure,
Yeah. I mean,
fucking sure.
I do too, though. Like, I get it. I get it, man. But like, it's just hard. It's really hard to convince a kid that has a future and developmentally may not be in a place to be at a particular place at a certain period of time to say, yeah, man, if you just hang on and bank it all on 1 year, like that's a hard sell for a kid now. And like, but to get back to Calipari, like the problem with it is, so T.O. told me an amazing story about Cal, by the way. So apparently, like a year or so ago, they were in Serbia. There's a big like European basketball convention in Belgrade every year. And he goes, it wasn't planned. Like, I didn't go over there. It wasn't like, in this, like, I'm going to go and smooch his butt thing. But he goes, we just kind of ended up together everywhere for like a week. Like, we took the same rides. Like, we went to dinner twice. Like, we were talking at the gym, the whole 9 yards. Like, he goes, didn't plan it out. Like, wasn't trying to like be in Coach Cal's sphere or anything like that. It's just, we consistently ended up at the same time. I've been on business trips where that happens. Like, those things happen, right? He goes, 2 weeks later, he goes, I'm at Peach Jam. And he goes, I say, hi, Cal. And he goes up, he goes, hey, man, my name's John. Like, he'd never seen him in his life before. Like, and he was like, that guy's just in his own planet right now. And like, the thing is, like, he runs the same offense. He's been running the same sets for 10 years now. Like, his market advantage was getting egregiously talented guys and like basically North Korea / Soviet Union you to death with talent, like just human wave, right? No tactics, just overwhelm you with talent, right? And now that you can't launder money and illegally pay players and that everybody can do it above board, like his advantage in the marketplace is adios. It's gone. It doesn't exist anymore. So now everybody can pay guys and be in and do that. Except now you've got coaches that can actually coach and now do that. And
Yeah,
just
and
because the
the
other
way
teams weren't willing to break the rules to do that didn't mean that they couldn't not do that and do it really well. And now they do it better than Kentucky does. Surprise, surprise. Because everybody does everything better than Kentucky in every other sport except basketball. And he doesn't have the coaching chops to be able to do it.
Yeah, and the way that you get people nationally to like see the point is when you make them realize this isn't a guy clowning on Kentucky. It's like, no, literally the situation it's not even an anti-Cal thing. The situation has changed. It's nothing to do with it. In many ways, it's nothing to do with John Calipari. Like, he didn't choose to get rid of the advantage, but the advantage is gone. Like, it's just a fact. And but I want to also. So was this on like playback? Well, you were mentioning you were watching the game with Teal
Yeah,
and
Dosser did his live
Oh,
broadcast
nice.
thing. And he
Yeah.
was whining that I wasn't on there again. So I went and graced Rob with my presence, as I always do.
Well, it's about time. UConn undefeated when I'm on it and winless when you're on it. So I'm
Yeah,
making
no,
sure of
I'm
that.
never going on again. So, but no, it was, I mean, it was just, but that's the thing, like everybody knows, like, and it just, there's going to be coaches that have had a lot of success historically that aren't going to succeed in this climate
And by the
anymore.
way, one of
And
them, I hate to say it because I actually like him as a coach, but one of them is absolute. I don't think John Beeline's coming back. Like, and he's
100%, he's
a
out.
great coach, but this ain't. I mean, hey, especially given what
That
happened.
whole Cavalier thing also didn't
Yeah,
help him in any
not
ways.
great. Not the sort of, not only a bad look, but not really conducive to me thinking he will function well in an NIL environment.
Yeah, Doster was talking about like Billy Donovan maybe being a guy like if you're Kentucky, and I got what Rob was saying. He was like the first two calls I make just because you got to make them say no to you or Jay Wright, and then probably Billy Donovan.
Yeah,
He goes, but
I
I
would agree
just
with that.
can't. He goes, I think Jay Wright would run a program the way Kentucky fans would want to see it because they are kind of a tactile fan base. Like they like guys that hang around that they can kind of cling on to and have their thing. But like Donovan's not coming back to recruit in this world. Are you kidding me? Oh my God.
Really, I'm
Like
surprised. I feel like he would kill it. I think NIL would play into
I'm not
stuff.
questioning whether he would kill you to destroy it. I just don't think he wants to do it.
That's
Like,
fair enough.
like, do you really want to do it? And I got Cal's buyout, by the way. It's $40 million.
Oh, so all right. So it's a half of a year of SEC TV payouts, which
Yes, I
is
actually thought
doable.
it might be a
That's
little
our
bit
Big
higher.
East buyout.
Yeah, but basically, no. Our Big East buyout is actually lower than we looked it up. It's actually not as high as we thought. Unfortunately, but yeah, it's not 40. It's like UConn's Big East buyout. I think is currently 20 million ish, or like it's between 10 and 20. It's not 40. Yuli has been requested and has been patient. I know some folks jumped out that requested. You have 8 minutes left in 2022. So your hottest, worst take, you can get it off now, and it won't be held against you.
Villanova should not be in consideration to make the NCAA tournament. That's my hottest take. They're 7-7.
No, Yuli, that's not even hot. That's not even a take, man. Nova, look, I think they might be all right, but they ain't getting an auto bid, or they ain't getting a large
They don't
bid.
deserve to be on
ship
the
has
bubble
sailed.
either. They're 7-7. Butler has a better resume than them.
You're right. No, it's all projecting.
There's a path. There's a path for them, but they got to thread the needle. Like this is a really tough loss for them because now they have to get the win back at Marquette. They got to get a win back against us at home. They've got to play Creighton twice. They're not beating them twice. They got to play Xavier twice.
Providence,
they're not going to beat them twice.
They might lose to Providence once or twice.
Yeah, I think they got to beat Providence twice, and then they have to hold serve on everybody else. And look,
And that's the
we
part
will
where it falls
have a
apart.
what the fuck loss this year. Like, we will lose to somebody we really shouldn't.
Yeah.
Every team does in this conference. Every team has that night. So, like, they basically, I mean, I don't have to be perfect, but like, if just those games, you got 2 against Creighton, that's 2 games, 2 against Xavier, now we're at 4, another game against Marquette and us, that's 6, right? And 2 against Providence, that's 8 games. Like, basically, they got to go. They got to go.
gotta beat the bottom
They got to
half.
at least go 4-4, if not like 5-3. And
I was
those,
I was thinking 6-2, to be honest.
yeah, I mean,
I think it's 6-2, and where it falls apart for me, hot balls, and it always does whenever you look at this sort of like, it's sort of thing. It fell apart when UConn was fucking struggling in the AAC. Those aren't the games I'm worried about. It's the other 8. That's what does it. Because inevitably, the reason why you're struggling, when it happens, you realize it was the most predictable thing to happen. Something like losing to St. John's. That's the sort of thing that is what I think is the problem for Villanova. I know they can do the 6-2. I don't think they can do the 8-0 on the other side. I just can't see it happening. That's why I think they're cooked, at large wise.
yeah, I mean, it's going to take. I mean, if they go and drop, I don't know, a game to St. John's on the road, they're cooked. That's it. Like, they're really
gonna have to win the Big East tournament or make it to the finals.
Well, they play like crap at you guys at Butler every year. I mean,
oh yeah, that Friday night game I'm looking forward to.
Yeah, like that's. I mean, that they're just. It's a really tough road to hoe. But what's going to be kind of funny with like, I don't know. There was some rumblings today, and it was probably just people trying to make some hay out of nothing. But they, okay, let's say they go out in the next 2 weeks and they go 500 still. If you're Justin Moore, like, what are you doing?
Yeah, see, I was the opposite side from you. I don't think it makes any sense for him to come back if he's going to play next year at Villanova. Why rush back for this? I don't think there's anything he can do in a lost season for his. Like, I think everybody thinks he will be healthy eventually. So, what's he gonna do in the last 2 weeks against like Seton Hall and St. John's that's gonna like get him in the lottery or something?
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, yeah, I don't know. I mean, I feel like it's both sides. I feel like people are going to want a scouting report on him at the same time. Like, I don't know. Does he have another year of eligibility after this? Or this is it, right? He's done.
Well, if he was on the team during COVID, he's got a year. And I think he was. I should know that.
He may
I hate
have
to tell you this, but the football game's been kind of fucking nuts.
Oh my god!
Both games were absolutely inebriated to the nth degree today.
Yeah, it only took 6 years for the playoff to finally be remotely interesting. I'll say that, and it's going to result in like the most boring title game, but whatever. Points. Yuli, I watched your game Thursday night in a sports book, and I'm pretty sure there were people around me who were getting money from your team because what the fuck was that?
I mean, the ridiculous thing is we were -3 favorites against Providence.
Hey guys, just real quick, I'm gonna go.
Georgetown.
Hey, just real quick, guys, I'm gonna go mute for the next couple of minutes just to hang out with my daughters, and I will be back.
Oh, all right.
On the other end of midnight.
Happy New Year, Hotballs.
No, I'm not leaving. I'll be back, but I'm gonna go on mute to hang out with my daughters just for a couple minutes here.
That's the right thing. All right, Yuli, tell me.
So what I don't
why
understand.
Butler wasn't point shaving.
What I don't understand is how we're -3 favorites against Providence, which made no sense at all. They should have been like at least 4.5 favorites, and now we're -3 favorites against Georgetown. Like it just doesn't make sense.
Georgetown, man.
I mean, no, we're not losing to Georgetown. If they lose to Georgetown, I'll be pissed. I'll never go to the game again.
Yuli, you are up next on the bullet is in that chamber, buddy.
I know. We're not going to be the team to lose. It's got to be like a St. John's or Seton Hall. That would be more characteristic.
It absolutely seems like if I'm honest, it's got to be St. John's.
St. John's, absolutely.
Especially if Patrick whips out a sweater.
I don't know what Butler was doing Thursday. It was abysmal. I was absolutely disgusted with every one of them besides Jalen Thomas. He was the only one who looked like he gave a damn. It was just, but that kid who put out that video coming out, I don't know what was up with that kid. That was just embarrassing.
I brought in David and Nate. We got a minute or so to go in the new year. Unleash your worst 2022 take. Everyone will forget. Go nuts, guys.
Yeah. So mine was actually, and this is a terrible one. I think Ryan Boatwright was a more valuable player than Shabazz. So you can roast me
Wow.
on that one.
Wow. Holy shit.
Little guy with a big ticker.
I mean, I love Boat. No, you don't get to turn around and act like anyone who disagrees hates Boat. No. That's not how that one's going to work.
Well, I was trying to pull the raftery on you, the little guy with the big onions, but
fair enough. No, and we got it.
I
We
think the
said
quote
it.
was the little guy with the monster ticker, to be precise. But
2023
you're right.
resolutions. Dave, you're eventually listening. We got to get Boat on the wall. All right. We're going to keep saying that.
I mean, he was pound for pound one of the most valuable people ever. I mean,
definitely.
What a tiny guy that just played his heart out.
Well, as we count down on 2022, I want to thank everyone who's jumped in on the spaces. I can't think of a sadder and yet better way to ring in 2023 than on a space with all of you. So happy New Year. And it's official. Gino Auriemma is winless this year. Fire Gino. Hold on, let me get the tweet off.
He missed.
You're ahead of me. That's funny. That's the best thing that could have happened.
He missed.
You're
and it
ahead
wasn't
of me.
close.
Damn it.
It wasn't close. He shanked the hell out of this.
Oh my god. What the hell was that?
Well, my
I get the hashes are giant as hell, but that wasn't even close.
Goodness. Well,
sorry for ruining it for everyone.
No, it's fine. I'm Hulu Live TV. I am going to be the last person.
I'm on YouTube TV. Hurley. So when YouTube TV dropped yes, I went to Hulu, and then when Hulu dropped yes, I went back because YouTube TV absolutely smokes Hulu Live TV.
No, I know it does. Without giving too much away, I have full access to yes legally. So that's part of why. Who is this Bennett who's crying? Yeah, I mean, I guess I kind of understand it.
Happy New Year, you no-talent ass clowns.
Happy New Year,
Happy New Year.
Hotballs.
This is absolutely the most pathetic way I've ever spent a New Year's Eve in my entire life. This is the bottom of the rung. Of all of the 40-plus years that I've had on planet Earth, this is, I mean, if we were ranking the presidents, I would be in Herbert Hooverland right now. Like,
you Zachary Taylor motherfucker. Congratulations.
On a Twitter Spaces.
Don't forget about Millard Fillmore.
That's a good one. Yup. William Henry Harrison. Hotballs wouldn't make it 30 days. No way. No shot.
Would have made it when?
You wouldn't have made it 30 days.
30 days for what?
Well, you wouldn't have.
That's how long William Henry Harrison was in office before he died because of pneumonia. Hotballs.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I don't know. I think I could have made it.
No chance. First of all,
I would be a way better president than William Henry Harrison. Abby, do you think I'd make a better president than William Henry Harrison? Well, thanks. My daughter's like, I think you'd accidentally burn the country down in 10 minutes.
No, well, here's the thing. The reason he got pneumonia was his inaugural address was 2.5 hours. And
I think it was 8,042 words or something like that.
That would definitely be a way I'd get myself killed because I just talk about UConn basketball on the steps of the state of the Capitol building in the rain for 2.5 hours. Is totally something I'd do and get myself killed.
And you would be in short sleeves because you think the weather's great. It'd be
that, or I get assassinated by a Providence fan
at some penicillin now, which helps. Station. We didn't have it then, so that was part of his downfall.
I'd definitely get Garfielded for sure by some Providence fan.
I did just go on mute to wish my wife Happy New Year. You'd think I had done that sooner. I'm so bad.
But Hotballs, would you have the witch doctor whole thing where it cost you 6 months of agony too? Because that's how he actually died.
Yeah, he died. His death was so bad.
It's so bad. It's like Woodrow Wilson too, which if you want to get into why the 25th Amendment is around, that's kind of the case in point.
Yeah, well, I mean, Wilson just had Wilson, awful human being, just had a stroke, and his wife was basically president. Doesn't get any credit for it, but
his second wife that he married in office too.
Right. Look, I'm not saying that's the worst field goal attempt I've ever seen, but It's in the bottom 3.
Yeah.
I actually think it's almost easier if you're an Ohio State fan. Like it wasn't. It's not like it hit the post. I mean, that wasn't even fucking close.
That was Billy Cundiff level.
So do we get Michigan, Ohio State in the fucking Fiesta Bowl again tomorrow or something? Do they get hot balls? There's nothing college football needs more than a third place game.
Oh, I don't even care about college football.
I know you don't. That's why I want it. I can imagine it.
Just to make me mad. The hot balls is Mad Bowl.
No other reason. None.
And they just duct tape me to like some gurney, and they hold my eyes open with pins, and they make me watch it for 6 hours or whatever it is.
I see Sage is in here. Sage, Happy New Year to you and the UMass folks as well. All the UMass folks. There's actually quite a few in here. UMass Twitter.
What a party we've got going on. This is pathetic. This is awesome.
This is pathetic and also much better than any party anyone would have been at anyway. Like, nobody ever likes the New Year's
Happy
party.
New Year's.
Nobody on Big East.
Huskies.
I will say this. Look, we disagree about a lot of things on Big East Twitter. Everybody was really angry about New Year's Eve tonight, and nobody went out. Like, I saw JP was on there. He was all pissed off. It's like, oh, I'm drinking and sitting at home. I hate this. Like, everybody's all Hall fans. I don't know. Cody's having a great night, but everybody's really bitter about it.
It's cold out. I was driving home. It was fucking downpour. Miserable.
It's all foggy, and all the idiot drunk bro Bible guys are going to be out there plowing into each other. And
so a question for all of you: at this point in the year, would you rather have cold and rainy or snow?
Snow.
It's not even a question.
I'm with you there.
Well, I like both. That's a toss-up.
At this point in the year, it's
for me. That's 5 minutes. For me, that's a toss-up. I like both equally.
It's New England. It's late December, early January. It's snow. It shouldn't be 52 degrees and rain.
Yeah, well, I saw a forecast for 60 degrees on
Yeah.
Fine. Hell yeah. As long as it's not raining.
Where was it? It's 60 degrees on Wednesday with a low of 51.
Well, the fun thing will be, and Owen knows this, Monday, at least there's no precipitation. The Winter Classic might be a shit show at Fenway.
Oh, that is going to be a shit show and a half.
Because it's going to be 50 degrees. Originally, it might be 50 and rainy, which was going to be like a no-go. That's the worst thing that they could have weather-wise for that. You can't have rain in 50 because it becomes just pebbled ice.
Mm-hmm.
If it's just 50, it'll be fine. It'll be shitty, but that thing's always shitty anyway. Sage, Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, guys.
Happy New Year, Sage.
I just wrapped my show. I was sort of like thinking I was going to go on with some poignant shit to say to open the year. It got to be like 12:02, and I was just like, I don't really have much else to say about Frank Martin's substitution patterns. So y'all have a Happy New Year. And just abruptly signed off and joined yours.
Yeah, but you always abruptly sign off. Like, that's your gimmick. Like, I tell everybody to keep in touch with themselves, but you just peace out.
Yeah.
You're like,
I kind of love it though.
It became a bit, and then it works, and it's not. I mean, it's obviously a little bit of a bit, but it's not totally faked. Like, I genuinely just kind of start fading, and I sort of see the writing on the wall, and maybe I'm a little paranoid after, still being roasted for falling asleep.
Sleep Spaces, when you fell asleep for 4 hours.
Yeah, and also, I want to just say, who the fuck were the people who were listening after I'd clearly fallen asleep? Like, what was it that made you feel?
Me, I listened 3 or 4 times.
Oh, I listened.
I checked in with you on the hour to make sure you were okay.
Oh no, but the thing is, it wasn't. People thought I was drunk or something. I'm not a big drinker, so that was just me fatigued and having small children. There's nothing complex about it, People are always like,
no, that's what made it phenomenal, though. Sleep Spaces is pretty legendary. I don't know if you saw over in Xavier the other this weekend. Captain X fell asleep.
That's right.
He fell asleep.
Cap.
That was hilarious.
Yeah, I mean, it's a rite of passage.
Right out
it's like, are you even a real Spaces host if you haven't fallen asleep?
Yeah.
All right, that Sage coming hot off the handle.
But I want to say this also. No. I'm actually. So now I have a 6 and a 3-year-old. The 3-year-old has respiratory shit, so we're not going out on New Year's. But I want to say this. I don't hate going out on New Year's. My wife is kind of an she's actually hardcore anti-Team New Year's and hardcore anti-Team Valentine's Day on Valentine's Day. She's fine with doing Valentine's Day, but She hates like the generic like, prefix like,
My wife hates
Yeah.
Valentine's Day. Like we don't even we do some stuff for our kids. We get them candy because they like us better when we do that. But when it comes to my daughter's over here nodding like a sicko, and because I let her stay up and
Is it
she
Abby?
she is listening to this. Yeah, Abby's here.
Abby, what's up? Happy New Year, Abby.
Happy New Year.
Poor child.
Sorry, Abby, we're still doing this
She sounds
crap in
she sounds
2023.
surprisingly well adjusted. But
Yeah, we get used to it after a while. Kids do the best.
Abby's awesome. She's the best.
So sorry you have to deal with my father. I promise it's not.
Are you is she a UConn fan?
Yeah.
Okay. So, but anyway, so like my wife is down on, but I actually think New Year's can be quite fun. And Hotballs, our shared contact in real life, who I'm not going to say out here, a couple who were my first two friends to get married on New Year's.
Yeah.
They got married on New Year's 12 years ago, or 12 years ago. They got divorced, and then they got remarried yesterday. Did you catch the news?
Yeah.
Game changer.
Weird.
I was thrilled. I mean, it was long overdue. It was like they got together too young. They married too young. They needed to see what else was in the rest of the world. They got back together, and I was surprised that they just sort of did the low key off to City Hall thing on the final day of the year. And look, I'm as someone who was at their first wedding, I feel selfishly it keeps the streak alive. I don't have any friends who are divorced yet, and I finished my year watching the final episode of the television show Fleischman is in Trouble, which I strongly recommend to those of you who have a sense of emotional vulnerability and are willing to watch a powerful show about divorce. A tough way to end the year. Great show, great book too, great writer. And I just felt like, wow, I'm really lucky that none of my friends have gotten divorced yet, because that's probably coming.
Oh, are you kidding me? I think my wife and I are batting 200 in the friends that have gotten divorced. I'm not even kidding. I'm trying to think.
You mean 80% of your friends of the weddings you've been at have already ended in divorce?
That's why I hate going to weddings. They're a waste of time. So I'm trying to think. Josh, they're done. Heather and Shane are done.
I'll say this:
done.
Baseball relationships bat about 130. So, given
Wait, what do you mean
background,
baseball relationships?
No, I mean it's not all baseball players. Believe it or not, it's a lot of. Actually, my baseball guys have done pretty good.
Have they? All right.
Oh,
I've
you're
heard.
saying
I mean, the worst
connections in the baseball world, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
No.
figured
Oh no.
that
A lot of
was
those people. Yeah. That's just comes part and parcel. But I think I'm trying to think. My wife's got her best friend's still going strong. She's good. But everybody else, like, holy smokes! I'm trying to think of any. Well, that's 3, 4, 5
together or not.
5 of my friends are still together. If I was to count divorces, I'd be over 15.
Wow. Yeah. No. I mean, but you're like what, 47?
No, not
44.
Good God.
got his ass. Love it.
No, so I'm
Right
37, and so the prime divorce years I feel like are like 39 to 46.
See, I think prime divorce is like 35 to 37 because it's the people that got together too early, tried to figure it out for a couple of years, and then failed.
Yeah, there's probably some truth in that, and like maybe they don't have kids yet, so that. Does it really?
And they're trying to get out while they still got some time.
I was gonna say though, does it really?
My parents was at 48.
Does it really count as a divorce if you
go.
get out of a divorce and you've not had kids? That's just a breakup. Like divorce, unfortunately, as this show reveals, strongly recommend. Fleischman is in Trouble. It's a little obnoxious the first couple episodes. It's a little too like New Yorky, but it gets really deep about relationships and people. The last 2 episodes are phenomenal. It really is about how like divorce is really just. There's a poignant line tonight in the last episode that was like, divorce is not about, basically like the parents, they get over it. It's like an earthquake, but and it ends. But for the kids, like you're saddling them with all the baggage. So like, I feel like if you get out of a marriage before you have kids, did you really get married? You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. It's like, I don't really consider that a divorce. Like, divorce has like serious effects on others. And I feel like just a breakup at 34 because you got together too young, it's like, all right, like, whatever. Life moves on.
Sage, speaking of things as uplifting as this subject, I'm glad you didn't actually go to I'm glad you didn't actually go to Olean today, because holy shit,
Oh
man.
my
Like,
God, man. I just
it's only the first game.
No, I know, but
in the league.
here's my only existential concern about Frank Martin, and I shouldn't put this on blast, so don't make it a thing because he's already blocked me.
All right, it's like 2 hours in. Don't worry, perfect
Well, then
time.
I can't put it on blast because he's already blocked.
Well, yeah, it's true, but he'll find it. I really do feel like this is my existential concern. It kind of has been since day one. When you're in like your kind, this is for all intents and purposes a retirement gig for him. Maybe he gets hot here for 2-3 years and he goes to Miami when Larinaga retires, though I don't see it. But for all intents and purposes, like, I don't think Frank said it himself on the Jim Rome show this week or podcast, that he's not gonna be one of these guys who's coaching when he's 72 years old wearing, he's like, I'm gonna be tending bar somewhere, Hawaiian shirt, which I respected a great deal. But as a result of that, and this general posture of like no fucks given, and this general posture of like I'm still going to do it my way in the portal era, there is a part of me that has like some existential concern about whether or not, and I'm desperately hoping to be wrong, and I think I'll mostly be wrong, but there is a part of me that worries like he would just straight up rather play dudes he likes that he feels like compete hard for him in practice than his most talented players on the floor. And I think that's like a very hard concept for a lot of fans to get. It's the kind of thing coaches empathize with because they're like, because coaches are like, are sickos who want to see things done sort of like their way, and they don't always even, and if their job is secure, they don't even actually care about the results. Not that they don't care, but that it's like a byproduct. It's secondary. They're there first and foremost to like do it their way and win their way. And if there's an easier way to win that like maybe requires you playing some kids that you don't like as much or that don't compete as hard in practice, you don't do it if you don't have to. And that's kind of my only concern right now with this group, is that there's just dudes who are like, it's just like you have a NBA level kid in Gapare 4 years from now.
Yeah, I was about to say. So yeah, Gapari played 13.
You know what I'm saying? Like, and it's like, sure, he's going to take time. He's rail thin. He's got a ton of things to figure out.
Who gives a shit? He's the best.
Right. But
player
you're losing to St. Bonaventure, who's not good this year, and it's like you're not playing him. What the fuck?
You just play him. Like, how's he supposed to get? It's the house. Is what HotBalls and I yelled at about the guys last year when they didn't play, and of course we look stupid now. But like, how are the guys supposed to get better if they never play? Like, magic. It can't. I know practice, but like,
but it's not even just that though, because like Samson really raw. Like Rasul, probably not a UConn guy. If he was, he would have been a development.
I heard he had a kid today, by the way. He didn't come to the game.
well,
all right.
All right. I wish him the best if that's the situation.
Speaking of people have kids, did you see RG3?
Yeah, that dude is wild. Like,
RG3 was watching college football while his wife was in labor live on Twitter today.
That's Wait, amazing. Really? That's peak RG3.
So he and three guys that I've never heard of were doing a ESPN broadcast on like ESPN2, and literally like middle of broadcast, he gets a phone call and like, "Why are you on the phone?" It's like, "I'm sorry, guys, I gotta go." My wife.
And by the way, him getting on the phone or whatever, like, they definitely, that was like quasi planned by a producer. I mean, that's not a coincidence.
Definitely.
But anyway, so
Yeah,
no,
the
so like,
question is, why are you at the Verbo Fiesta Bowl to do an alternate telecast when your wife isn't like? You're not exactly
Wife is
you're
due
not
any day.
exactly in the Herb Street seat there.
yeah, I mean, look, dudes rock. What can I say?
Yeah.
But like,
He's
I had a friend whose wife went into labor, and he was like trying to be like the whole doting husband thing, and she's like, "I just need you to leave."
oh, my wife was of the mind like, your one obligation is like, you're gonna have to shut the fuck up a number of times. Like, stop.
Yeah, and like I was trying to be doting and everything. My wife turned into like a beast woman.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
I've never my wife was like feral. Like I've never seen her like that. And she, so I'm like trying to be helpful or whatever.
Yeah,
And
never do you feel more
she didn't want
useless
any of
as
it.
a
She's
man
like,
than in the labor room.
oh,
I mean, you're just like,
that's when it's peak uselessness. Are you kidding? Like there's nothing I could do. She's like, hold a leg, shut
yeah,
up.
shut up,
Like,
like,
okay.
shut the fuck up. And also, like,
Yeah.
but then, like, my thing is like, it's bad, but like, my tendency is toward curiosity. So I'm like asking, and I don't remember any of the shit they tell you in the lead up to these things. Like, we went to the birthing class. Like, I didn't fucking internalize one word. So then it's like day of, and that's like how I learn too. Is like I it's cram time, and I'm like, wait, so what's happening right now? Like, and I'm like trying to get the play by play of the late.
I can't imagine having to birth a baby in front of you. Like you're probably asking questions and being like, okay,
That's
so but like
interesting. That's interesting.
if we were having a whole process here, like what would your typical delivery
Yeah,
be like?
100%.
I could
I'm
see
like,
you
and like
trying to break the whole thing down.
and I'm going to tell you right now, the only people who work a real job in America, the only ones are labor and delivery nurses.
100%.
Like, there's like 6 people in America who have real jobs, and they have like real jobs number 1 through 5. Like, you could make the case that some truckers are working, but that's getting automated soon too. A lot of those guys are just like doing enough meth to get through the night. Like, they're just like the rest of us.
I don't think they're automating firefighter anytime
Oh,
soon, though.
okay. Like, let's be real. If we're really getting real on New Year's Eve, I'm gonna be totally honest with you. Asbestos
It's officially New
removal
Year's.
is like look, there's not a lot of fires left anymore. If you just look at the data,
Very
there's
true.
very
Yes.
few
True.
fires. And so yeah,
True.
there's a couple of guys, a couple of times a year in a couple places who bust their ass. But most firefighters are not working. Like, let's be real. They're it's like, I love the cop firefighter rivalry, by the way. One of the great rivalries in professions, because those guys really hate each other. Like, the Army Navy.
Sage, if you get
You
the
can thank the
opportunity
gangs of
to
New
go,
York for that.
Sage, if you get the opportunity to go to the FDNY NYPD hockey game,
Unbelievable.
I strongly urge you to do
Unbelievable
so.
event every year. I watch the YouTube videos every year. Fights galore in both the stands and on the ice. And it is not like, one of my favorite lines, like, my brother-in-law went to the Naval Academy, and one of my favorite lines is like when they're like, every fucking CBS Army Navy game, they're like, and even though these guys are arch rivals today, they are both fighting for the same team. And then
They
then they
fucking
do the
hate each
flyover.
other.
No,
They
Like,
hate each
they
other.
detest one another in the most primal tribal ways. Like, they would rather like beat the fuck out of each other than like the Taliban, and that's a fact. But anyway, going back to real professions, I think other than labor and delivery nurses, you can make the case that some high level kindergarten teachers work. And like, I guess coal miners, but there's like 70,000 left. So, I mean, who works harder than a labor and delivery nurse? They are fucking in it. And the doctors don't do shit. Absolutely nothing. They come in for like 5 minutes, and they're just like, "Oh, everything's good here. Let me measure this up. I'll be back in 2 hours."
yeah.
And the labor and delivery
And
nurse has to be both like a therapist and a doctor. Like, they're like really working, and they're like on their feet and shit. So who else? Who else works?
and by the way, without being too crude, not exactly a clean situation they're dealing with in
Not
any
at
way.
all.
Like just
No, there's so much shit going on, dude. Like I couldn't keep up. I was defenseless.
Absolutely
I didn't
defenseless.
even know what to do. And my wife, like, there's people, and man, these women that go into labor for like hours and hours and hours. Oh my god, like that is a superhuman thing to like experience. My wife was like, "We're getting out of here in like 10 minutes." Like she was just
That was my
ready,
second kid.
like yeah, no, like so. As my daughter's sitting here next to me describing her birth, but like
meanwhile, my wife is right next to me, and we haven't had one yet. It is probably determined it will never happen just based on
my oldest was out in 8 minutes. I don't even think it was that.
What,
Like
she
to feel
run
like
out?
that, like it was like a shot out of a cannon. Like didn't even have a chance to like reacclimatize to the world around her. Like my daughter says the world was ready for me, and like my my wife was like, I've never seen a human being be in that kind of a state, and like I've never felt that useless. Like I was useless. There was nothing. There was no purpose for me whatsoever. And there's other. Well, yeah, Lydia was different. That was a little bit longer, but you know that was nuts. I've never seen anything like that. And labor and delivery nurses are crazy because all of their patients are in just a trance. Like they're in a totally
Yeah,
different
you don't get like
world
casual
altogether.
people
Like,
coming in and being like, I think my back hurts. You know what I mean? It's like real deal shit every second.
Every single person you're dealing with is in the most important and most painful moment of their
Labor
life.
and delivery nurses are basically what college basketball coaches like think they are.
Yes, yes,
Yeah.
Like
absolutely.
every
That's dead on.
moment deeply matters, and yet like college basketball coaches don't realize that like none of the moments matter at all. So they have to give it this like fake purpose of that, like a labor and delivery nurse ends up being the calmest person on the planet because the labor and delivery nurse is just like, yeah, this is my everyday. Like they're actually in the labor and delivery nurse is like a college basketball coach when his player is on the line with like 2.9 seconds left in overtime every fucking day.
and that's every day. That's every patient. They're not
Like, because
Yeah,
the consequences
meanwhile,
are actual life and death to some degree. Now, chances are, like, look, let's be real. For the first like couple of years of history, they just knocked them right out on the farm, and they were fine most of the time. I mean, yes, infant mortality rates being what they are, but like, like it's not like they if they weren't there, but you as the patient and the partner of the patient feel like they need to be there. You know what I'm saying? Like in a way that I'm not sure like a college basketball coach has to be there when the kid's on the line. The kid's just got to make the play.
I'm doing a very important poll involving Sage.
Is this like basically you're asking UConn fans like, would you rather hear us talk about today's UConn game or Sage talking about labor and delivery nurses?
Hold on.
We covered a lot in this new year already. There's 27 minutes into the year. We've covered a little UConn. We've covered a little Frank Martin, UMass rotations, child labor and delivery, and divorce rates, and what the driving forces behind the United States.
So, Sage, where do you put ER doctors who specialize in trauma?
So let's talk about the trauma for a second. Because
trauma nurses.
Listen, trauma is powerful and we all endure it, but there are some cases of not all cases of trauma are created equally, right?
Bullshit. If you saw the last 3 minutes in Cincinnati today, no.
I mean,
I had to
I'm
take a poop
talking
one
about
time,
like
and I don't know if there's any
GSW's,
doctor
knife
that can handle
wounds,
it.
etc., of that.
Yeah, that's
trauma,
real.
not,
Those
like,
guys are
mental
working.
trauma.
I'll give you that, and especially at like certain high level trauma centers, those guys are working. But those guys have a little more backup, and I still think I give the nod to labor and delivery nurses.
Oh, definitely labor and delivery takes the cake. I was just saying, you were talking about how there aren't many.
Those guys are working.
That is a true job when it's a high trauma area.
Those guys are working, no doubt.
They're working their butts off. There's a lot of triage happening there. So
those guys are working.
Yeah, but No, look, tough opener. I don't know how I'm going to try and pivot back, but I'll give it a go. Tough opener for your guys, but it's a long. The A10 is a long slog, and maybe by game 5 he'll realize to play Kapari fucking 25 minutes. But
it'll be interesting because Frank Martin teams historically are very good in March when he gets there, and the reason is clear. I think it's because he's basically like, all right, fuck this. Like, I just got to play the dudes I got here. Like, in the past, that's been like a Michael Beasley or Sindarius Thornwell or whomever. Just kind of like, go take over, dude. And so the teams that get to that point, like, I don't care if UMass goes like 8-10 in league play. You ain't going to want to see him in Brooklyn. That's a fact. I don't think they'll go 8-10 in league play. I mean, Ken Pom had today as a narrow loss and like, still had us finishing 19-11, so it's not the end of the world. The other point I wanted to say is a really interesting point that a very perceptive coach made to me in my DMs today was like, Frank teams struggle when they have too much time to prepare for an opponent because the practices are so grueling and miserable that eventually kids get a little out of sorts and they're just like, whereas when you have the 2-game-a-week deal, you just don't have the ability to run practice at that level. And so the games become sort of more enjoyable. And I think 3 of our 4 losses today came after breaks of 6 days or more. Sorry, one was the second game of the season, but it was like after Central Connecticut. So I really don't consider that like a game.
that's not a
It's not a
game.
game.
That's barely a program.
And so I think like the second game, like a few nights later, after 40 practices to start the year, the same exact thing happened to them. They went down to Florida for a non-conference tournament, back-to-back games, won all 3. Like, it's just, I think there's something to that. And I think as they, I don't know. That's a really interesting point that this person made that I just had not considered. They made it earlier in the year too. And it's just like, dude, kids in there are just kind of beat up and like, they just need a little bit less practice sometimes before a game. And it's interesting because like Matt McCall, when he was at UMass, and I'm sure you guys have had, I would love to see data on this, but Matt McCall was the kind of guy, like, if you gave him a week, he could be really good. Because he didn't grind kids that hard in practice, but you get enough reps over 6 days and, like, to time to prepare for an opponent, you can be pretty good. So that's, like, a very interesting nugget. I'm curious if you guys noticed that with other coaches, but I would imagine there's some, like, very intriguing data on this.
It's funny you bring up McCall. Obviously, UMass coach for this year. He's one of the 19,000 employed by Rob
He's
Dawson.
really good, by the way.
Dude,
And
I was just gonna say
he's really good at he's really good at like deep, like thought out breakdowns of teams. And my takeaway was like, I could see both why this guy was successful and why he was a problem. Because I think if he takes it, like he's good at taking his time and breaking down a team and really getting into it. But I also can see him being the kind of guy who's just way too slow to like figure it out and react.
It's not so much that, like,
it's too late.
He's just one of these guys who's like maybe knows the game a little too well to fully to like teach it and at a level for like 18-year-olds who have like short attention spans, you know? Like, I always said if you put like McCall in the Patriot League with the right players that fit, like he would be a fucking 12-year guy there winning like 9 conference. Like Holy Cross won't hire him because their current coach is like his best friend and they're not going to go with another young Floridian. But he would be an outstanding pick there. Like if he could just, and the kids that worked well for him were like super nice, super bright, super under recruited, who averaged like 9 points a game and would have averaged 9 points a game at a Division III school and or Duke, you know, like those kind of kids.
So what you just said there, like when I was listening to it on Field of 68, you know what the one passing thought in my head was? I was like, this guy would be the greatest basketball coach in the history of the NESCAC.
Yes. I mean,
like those, because you have to be like to coach Ivy League / NESCAC, Liberty League, Patriot League, Centennial Conference kind of guys. Guys, those are Division III conferences, by the way, high academic.
But high basketball.
Those kids ask so many fucking questions. Like, I deal with them in summer ball, and like they're great kids. They're smart as a whip. They're mature past their years, but They just don't stop asking you why about
They just keep asking questions constantly.
Yeah, and like you don't want to, like, you just get to a point where you're like, I don't, shut up, like, just go do it. You don't need to know why. Like, I didn't need to
Or
go
I don't even know why. It just works, kid.
Yeah, like, just shut up and go and do it. But like, Matt is absolutely the kind of human being that would sit down with them for 10 minutes in a player meeting and be like, well, I'll map it all out for you. And they would leave the meeting absolutely satisfied.
Yeah.
Like, full bellies. I get it. Thank you, coach. And like, it takes a very specific kind of human being to deal with those kinds of players. Whereas when you get to the upper levels of any college sport, like, there just is an element of like, well, you're really good, and I just want you to go do this. And like, you don't need to spell everything out. And if you do, you lose it.
Well, and
in
yeah,
5
and like,
seconds.
you know, I mean, I think he struggled with that. It's just so interesting because when he got fired, there was like 3 games left in the regular season and then the A10 tournament, and he just started coaching phenomenally. And like, one of the hallmarks of those teams, they almost beat Dayton in the quarters last year in the A10 tournament, lost by 3. And
I really thought they were going to win that fight. I was following it with you. They look so
they
much
should have won that game. I mean, and they had lost that same team by like 30, 2 weeks earlier. And part of it was just there was no fucks to give. You know, it's as simple as that.
Yep.
Like,
that's what it was. They just went out, no burdens.
They didn't have any. They didn't run a million screens, and like, you know, they just weren't thinking about it, and they just competed. And now that's not sustainable. I think that we've seen teams that are where they're just competitive teams, but they don't have any structure. But I also think, like, and I think to a very different degree, we're seeing a little bit with Frank right now. Like, at a certain point, like, these are kids, and you just, like, Derek Kellogg, when he was at UMass, for all his struggles, he's the best I've ever seen. Actually, at like, his one great skill was like, I know about what I can get out of these kids, and I know about what they can give to the median coach, i.e., like me. And that is a skill because he got it out of them. Now, a great one, right? Like a Calipari, well, not anymore, maybe not anymore, but maybe a Hurley right now can get a little more out of kids. And that's a real skill. And I think you're seeing that with Hurley now. But 90% of these guys can't do that. And that's the dream for all of them, right? If they could all do it, they would all be Hall of Famers. And, you know, they can't. But I think, like, yeah, just that dynamic of just not quite knowing when enough was enough is such a defining characteristic of the guys who aren't Hall of Fame coaches. You know, it's like, it's just knowing, okay, I don't need to be that involved right now, and here's when I do. Picking your spots is so essential.
It's tough, man. And it's like, you know, I talk about, I'm sorry, I bring everything back to baseball. It's because of my world, but like, you know, and I think I may have told this story on Spaces before. You probably have, but I remember seeing a segment on MLB Network. This was probably, I want to say 4 or 5 years ago, and they had Pete Rose on, and they've had other segments that are kind of similar. They had one with Jim Thome that was the same kind of thing, but they were asking Pete Rose like how he broke out of a hitting slump, right? And I'm watching Pete like try to explain this. And it was the stupidest thing I've ever seen come out of a baseball player's mouth. And he's like aimlessly moving around a box. And like, then I put my hands here and I did this over here. And I'm like, this guy is legitimately just making things up. Do you know how Pete Rose broke hitting slumps? By being Pete Rose. Like, by not thinking about it a lot, he just gets in there and does that. Like, as a hitting coach, like, how much are you going to tell a Ted Williams or an Alex Rodriguez? What are you going to do? You sit there with Mike Trout. Like, what's the drills that you need to that fucking Mike Trout needs to deal with every day?
It's like the eternal baseball debate of do hitting coaches actually do anything?
Well, they do a lot, but like, but not with Mike Trout. Like, what am I going to tell Mike Trout? The thing I would be terrified of is screwing him up. Like, and I remember we had a kid a couple of years ago where he was the leading home run hitter in Division I, hit 38 jacks. That's a lot of home runs, right? Granted, it was the OVC, but like, he was a guy that outside pitches, anything that was breaking, like, had a harder time getting to that. And early on in our season, kind of got abused a little bit, but like, 1 in 20 pitches he would get to, but if he got to it, he'd hit it opposite field so far that like you were kind of hesitant to like get in. Like you wanted to talk to him about plate approach, maybe hitting the ball over the middle, trying to flick the ball out to center field. But like anybody that ever came inside on him, like if you threw him a fastball, it was gone. I mean, it was hit 400 feet effortlessly. But here's a guy with kind of like a little bit of a hole in his swing, but like what exactly is it that you're going to do, to fix that? Because he can get to that baseball, right? Like how can we get him to get to that baseball more consistently that he doesn't hit as consistently, right? than the other pitches. And but there's just so many guys. Like I remember Jim Tomei was talking about how he would point the knob of the bat towards the catcher in a certain way if you wanted to go opposite field or this, that, or the other thing. And like there's just so many things in there as a coach that like I feel like guys get to a high level and they feel like they just need to inject themselves and a system and I'm going to do this and you're going to do that.
Yeah, I mean,
And
because look, you
I'm going to
on
coach
some
you.
level, like if you make it to that high level, it's such a hard profession to navigate to advance in. And there's only, as much as everyone's like, oh, there's so much money in college sports, or there's only like
There's
100
not
jobs.
actually a lot of money in college sports until you get to the top.
Exactly. There's like 100 jobs where you're like meaningfully get paid, right? And if you're lucky enough to get one, or 150, you feel, I think, psychologically like you have to show that you have a certain expertise that is above and beyond that of the thousands of other people who want to do this for a living who are not making.
It's imposter syndrome. It's
imposter
imposter
syndrome.
syndrome.
Yep.
It's that I'm here. I have this job that I think deep down that maybe I don't deserve.
Well,
So
because like
let me
no
show
one
you what I do
deserves it,
well.
right? Like I think there are a
Right.
few guys.
No.
There's the Billy Donovan. There's certain guys who I just think are probably supremely gifted at their craft. By the way, many of them not at the college or NBA level, for what it's worth.
Yes, correct. Absolutely. The high school guy. I mean, the high school. It's literally teaching.
Dan
Like,
Hurley's father stayed at St. Anthony's, a failing school, for decades as a basketball coach. Easily could have coached at the college level and been very good.
Yeah, I mean, tons of dudes could, like for sure.
Yeah.
Now it's also and that's the other thing. Coaching at this level is actually a genuinely different skill set. So just being the best at coaching a game may be a very small piece of your job. You're a politician, you're a manager, sort of of a small division of a business. And all the attendant, consequences that come with that. So I think what happens is then you get on the floor, and that's where the world actually sees you, and so you feel the need to perform for the world because otherwise, what are you really doing there, right?
Yep.
And it's just so interesting, and that's why I think where you see a lot of bravado and stomping and clipboard throwing and the like, because or just like overcomplicating it technically. And I think that was actually McCall's problem, is like he almost wanted to let you know that he really was the best at calling an offense, which, by the way, like they scored like 80 points under him. He could fucking call an offense. There's no disputing that. It's just like, all right, but that, unfortunately, that's not all you're assessed on here, And I think that's really hard for any of these guys to internalize, no matter how gifted at one element of the game they are. Conversely, I think guys who come up as recruiters and are tremendous recruiters, they feel an insecurity to like overthink it basketball wise too, because otherwise they're just recruiters. And what does that mean? They're not actually coaching, right? But no, that's like 80% of the job. That is coaching. It's just different skill sets, to get a successful group are required.
well,
Well,
like
I think the guys that ultimately have. Go ahead, Hurley. I
was just gonna say it's like you made a point earlier that made me think of this, and it ties back into it. Sage, like somewhere the head coach of men's basketball at South Carolina Upstate is unable to sleep at night because he's just living and dying. Like, and if you back off, that's completely ridiculous. But like, all these guys, like, imagine being the
But they
long
are.
coach.
I know Mike McGuire at USC Upstate. He is fucking
No,
up all
but
night.
some of them are like, here's why people hated Steve Spurrier. They always said Steve Spurrier was the only coach who was like, yeah, I'm going to show up at like 10. I'm going to leave at 3 after practice.
Right.
And like, we're still going to win 10 games a year. Fuck you. And I think something about that just terrorized and made coaches so fearful. In the same way, by the way, that everybody knows that person at work who's going to get their job done really well and is going to do it in half the amount of time and is probably going to do it better than you. But
Same
yeah,
thing.
maybe they're not going to be like 12-0 at it, but they're going to be 10-2 every year, and you're going to be grinding for 8-4.
It's the same thing. It's a lot of the hustle mentality, right? Like where I think part of being a really good head coach at a high level is also surrounding yourself with people that, just like in any other business, are going to complement your weaknesses. And a lot of coaches, I laugh about it all the time. Like, how many college programs at any sport do you think, like, when they're on the recruiting trail, are pitching themselves as like, we're a developmental program? We like to take guys and develop guys. No fucking college coach wants to develop anybody. Are you kidding me? If I can get Christian Laettner, Marcus Camby, and frickin' Ray Allen on the same team and get out of their way, do you know what I'm going to do? That.
Right, and the guys who do love developing guys aren't really at that level, because at the end of the day,
Yeah,
They're
they're not.
not.
you can be a great developer of
You
talent, but
shouldn't be
if you don't
developing.
have talent to develop, it doesn't fucking matter.
Right. 100%. And so, like, there's just a threshold where the best coaches are the guys that are able to, like, really double triple down on their own strengths, whether it's recruiting or being more of a motivational guy, or being an X's and O's guy, but having those guys around you that are really going to be difference makers in your blind spots as a coach, but having the humility to be able to do that. And I know that seems like a really simple
It's not.
formula, but like, it's not. And whether you're in any profession, whether you're running a tech company or a finance company or public administration or a basketball team at a high level, like, it is absolutely freaking incredible that, like, when somebody gets into a particular position, how prone they are to biting off more than they're capable of chewing, and lacking the humility to say, not my thing.
Well, and
Like,
trust.
need
I
to get
think
somebody that's going to cover
trust
that.
is the biggest one. I come to realize, like, I have it with
Some of that. Yeah, that's a good point.
I have it with my boss, where he brought me on because I already knew him, and so there was a tremendous amount of trust. And frankly, I think on some level, like, he knows that many aspects of the job I'm better than he is, but not at the ones he's good at, which are like dealing with people I don't want to deal with because I'm just going to run my mouth and I just want to be heard. And he fucking lets me say it, and then he takes what I say and, like, he takes credit for it. But as long as you compensate me and you don't, but even that, and it's as ideal as I've ever had. And I came to work for someone I already knew for that reason. But even that, like, there are moments where I'm just like, what the fuck? I'm totally second guessing him. I think I know the answer better. And I'm like, and I'll say it to him. We can disagree in good faith. I'll just be like, and he's like, but that's my risk, my cross to bear. Like, I got to deal with that. And it's like, that is, but even then, it's not simple. And so to maintain that level of trust as a staff is just really fucking hard. And then if you're too good as an assistant, I don't care what coaches say, a lot of them aren't going to really let you leave, right? They're going to say, "Oh, he's not quite ready." Like, they don't have any reason to let you go, because there's a lot of coaches. I'll never forget. I was at a St. Joe's game in the A10 tournament years ago, and I met a kid who played on a Martelli team in the mid aughts, and I was like, "What did you think about Phil Martelli?" He's like, I mean, honestly, like, Phil's all right, but, like, I was there for Mike Rice, who was an assistant at the time. They're like, Mike was crazy, but, like, I just fucking love that guy. And that was like, this kid's he wasn't knocking Phil Martelli, but he was just like, his entire relationship to the program, the 3 years he was there, was through one assistant who would later go on to be a pretty good head coach before having his kind of antics, publicly chronicled. But I mean, like, I think people, if you go back and look at certain coaches and how they did with certain staffs versus without them, it's very consequential. It's not insignificant.
Sage, off-season idea off of something you mentioned earlier. for our, ideas been the last 15 years of Holy Cross men's basketball and how they've fucked up every single year.
Yeah, I would listen to that. I mean, I don't know if there's a big audience for it, but fuck yeah, I find.
Oh, none. I mean, Bill Simmons is one of them, so we might get funding out of it. But it's nuts to me how they went from being just really solid and just kind of churn it out to just completely in the
Yeah, I
ditch.
think a lot of these places, man, it's like one AD who's just kind of got one or two ADs who's kind of got their heads somewhere else. They're busy, fundraising or trying to build a new facility or whatever it is, and all of a sudden a basketball search comes. And the thing about basketball searches, and this is my one lane that I'm really interested in now, it's like if you don't hit that hard and already have a real idea of how you're going to approach it, I don't care if you're Duke or Holy Cross, like you're going to fuck it up. And I just think like it's so funny to me. Like if you're an AD, I'm just going to take a sip of water.
No, thank goodness.
If you're an AD, really all that matters is who you hire for football and who you hire for basketball. Like, yeah, the other shit,
100%.
there's career guys who do the facilities and whatever. And like, because at the end of the day, and all the complicated stuff of business deals and whatever, none of that's going to come to fruition if your football team and your basketball team don't win. So at the end of the day, that's kind of all you're there for. Again, hard for a lot of ADs to recognize because they want to see themselves as leading departments and fucking building facilities and, getting GPAs from 3.22 to 3.31 or whatever. But at the end of the day, nobody gives a shit about anything they do except who they hire for men's football and men's basketball. And as a result, like it's always amazing to me when an AD just kind of seemingly carelessly makes that. And conversely, or like on the other side, is once those decisions are made, even if you're the most attentive AD in the world, like it doesn't matter. The decision has been made, and like you got to live with the consequences. It's interesting because Holy Cross had a few where they were like, "Oops," and they fired him like a year later. A couple of them, but then they went with Bill Carmody, who came from Northwestern. It was a weird stretch there, and you're right. But I wonder, and if we looked into it, is it just like a sort of a sleep at the switch AD, and that's it? Is it really that complicated?
Well, it's weird to me because this isn't like Ford. Like they were always very good and stable,
And they're
and maybe into
amazing
the
at
tournament.
football right now.
Right, which that one to me is almost more incredible than screwing up
100%.
basketball.
But that might be a like a unicorn. Like Bob, that guy is
Yeah.
just. I mean, I don't understand how he's not at a Power 5 school right now. It's just beyond me. I mean, to take a program like Holy Cross to make them as consistently good as he did in a fairly short amount of time, like that is astonishing. And like that guy could win anywhere. So on the other hand, again, sometimes you just get a unicorn, and it's like I don't know that Bob Markham, who was at UMass, who hired John Calipari, was like a genius. I think some people pushed for a young guy because the program was in dire straits, and everybody benefited. But again, it's just like you have to have that list in your back pocket the day something happens in your program. You have to be ready to fucking go.
Yep. You have to assume it will happen at
At
any point. And that's something that I didn't even fucking participate hotballs and whatever the fuck was going on.
I'm back. My phone died.
Sorry,
My
Owen.
phone.
Yeah, Owen's back. Hotballs. I don't know what was going on Friday night that decided to be this is going to be the day everyone talks about Dan Hurley leaving.
Yeah,
day.
that was
Yeah,
fascinating
what the heck
from afar.
happened there?
Yeah, that's crazy. I mean, I don't think it's look, I don't think the concept of Dan Hurley leaving Connecticut is crazy. Like, I could,
agree. You know where
but
he's not
I think
fucking
Andrew
going?
would kill him,
Kentucky.
Will.
He's not going to Kentucky. I think he'd blow his head off in Kentucky. Can you imagine? Like, and here's the thing with him, and this is maybe a little bit of the UConn homer in me speaking. So I'll totally, take it and wear it on my sleeve. But this is a guy that like money is. Don't get me wrong, man. Money overcomes a lot of sentiment, but like I mentioned it earlier, this guy's dad stated basically a failing
private school in northern New Jersey for decades, right? To like prove a point when he could have done anything, right? And I do think that, I mean, this is a guy that almost didn't leave URI and got a better offer somewhere else other than us, and still
Where did he get an offer?
And
Pitt.
I didn't realize that.
oh yeah,
so
it's Sage. We have a lot of fun with it. It's a great sliding doors moment for us anyway.
Pitt offered him a lot
But
of money. That's all I'm going to say.
Hotballs, the contributing factor here is that Andrea would most likely kill him if he moved out of the North.
Well, that's just the other thing, and we talk, and Sage, I've heard you talk about this with Schmidt and some other guys, and that guy out in Vermont.
That came
and some
from
other
his
things,
mouth.
but
That's why I'm bringing it up.
But well, that's I mean, he mentioned that in the interview the other day. But like, she's a Northeast woman. Period. I mean, the idea that they would be more than 2 hours from northern New Jersey, I think, would be. I can't imagine. Andrea Hurley in Lexington, Kentucky.
Yeah.
Like,
He
I
didn't want to
can
leave.
I could see a Raleigh Durham Duke UNC. I think the UNC crowd would hate him because they're so wine and cheese. I think Duke are prostitutes. They could learn to love anybody. And like North Carolina, a little different, right? It's mostly northern transplants in the Raleigh Durham area, anyways. Nowadays, like it's a little bit more Yankee-fied. Like, I think that's a place that like you could teach a family to learn to love. I don't. Kentucky is not a place that I think you can teach somebody to learn to love, and I think it's a very specific kind of thing. That the fan base is batshit there. I just don't think that's a place for him. And there's other guys that I just think are better fits there.
And I'm gonna, just to be fair, broaden out, and because I kind of am doing this off of what happened with Nova, like you never know. Fucking if Virginia could become open at some point here, like at what point does Tony Bennett just decide to do something else? Maybe. I mean, because if it's successful,
that's an interesting guy. That's another interesting guy too. In that
predicament,
he's an interesting guy in that. Because look, I mean, here's where I'm at, and I mean, I'd say Hurleymania, and I don't know what your guys' thoughts are here, but I think Cal is on his way out at Kentucky. I think Cat's out of the bag there. I think that's on the clock.
I think he's worn out his welcome.
I think Hubert Davis does no idea what he's doing. And Shire, we're really early on. I think Duke's going to be a little bit, but I think it's going to be a much more difficult sell to get people to want to go to Duke if they have a couple of down years like they're having.
And it was so built. It was so built. I don't even say this incorrectly, but it was built so much around Coach K. Definitely. Well, guess what? He's not there. Like so.
So I mean, I think you're going to have. What I'm trying to say is, I think you're going to have some pretty big programs coming up, and some guys are going to have some options. Like, I think the guy, and again, this is just me. If I'm Kentucky, the first phone call outside of Wright and Donovan that I'm making, just because I want them to say no, would be Scott Drew at Baylor. Like that's an upgrade. That's a guy that comes in there, comes with the whole faith thing attached. Like,
do you think he leaves Baylor though, because he won them a national championship?
100%.
What else? Oh, and what else does he have? What else is there to do at Baylor?
Outside of winning another national championship, pretty much nothing. But
well, yeah, and like he could leave there with middle fingers, like publicly saying "fuck Waco," and he would still be revered there.
True.
And not just because they're fucking weirdos, but like he's by far the greatest coach they've ever had, disgraced or non-disgraced in fucking any sport. I would argue, given the high he got, even more than Kim Mulkey. Like he's done incredible stuff there. There's really nothing else to do there. Like I think
Scott Drew's the guy I would be all over there. I would see Kentucky lifting a Big 12 guy, maybe making a run at Kelvin Sampson.
Do you think Mark Few would ever leave Gonzaga?
I don't think. I think we're at the point where that like. I just don't think like.
I don't think Mark Few's a Kentucky guy.
I don't think he is at all.
He's definitely not.
I could see a Mark Few at a Kansas. I could see him at a UCLA. Yeah. Like there's places I can see him other than Gonzaga. I can't see him at Kentucky.
I think there's a better chance Dan Hurley goes to Kentucky than Mark Few.
Oh,
yeah,
definitely.
I would agree. I mean,
that's how crazy that would be. But like Mark Few deserves. To be clear, the reason it's hard for me to say it, like Mark Few deserves it, but I mean, he don't want it. He's happy, and if Washington ever decided to give a shit, I at this point I'm amazed by how there's no scenario in which Mark Few takes the Washington job. It's incredible to me.
Or yeah, I mean, the Mark Few watch would be Oregon, obviously, if that was a thing. UCLA, but he passed on UCLA, didn't he? I thought he was a guy that was.
I
know they broached the topic with him.
Oregon's interesting because Dana's actually getting up there. Oregon might be open the next few years, and as long as Phil Knight's alive, which is he's got enough money to replicate.
He's alive.
He's alive. He's getting up there, but he's alive.
It may have come up during the UConn non-conference that he is alive. Yeah, that's an interesting one because they got more money than sense up there. I think Scott Scott for Kansas makes a lot of, or Kentucky makes a lot of sense. You mentioned Kelvin. That's a great call. I actually thought you were going to go real aggressive because Kentucky would fucking call Bill Self. It's the kind of thing they do.
They will. Bill's not leaving Kansas. There's no point.
I
at this point.
Your only argument to make that is that they have been overwhelmingly loyal to him when perhaps not deserved. Let's just say
he's safe there. I think that's a no. That's a no-go. What's going to be more interesting
Kelvin
to
makes
me
a lot of sense. Kelvin, yeah.
I think Kelvin, Scott Drew are the candidate pool, but I do think the interesting thing is going to see what Cal does if he decides to retire and do nothing. There's a hot rumor. I'm not going to tell you who I got this from, but it is a very reputable human being. That a discussion that has been had has been the idea of Cal, that provided Chris Beard's gone at Texas, but would be Cal heading to Texas.
I could see that. Yeah.
Which makes
happen.
I mean, if Cal's trying to squeeze another 5 minutes out of 5 years worth of a career out and get paid a boatload of money from the most professional money spenders in all of college sports, that would make a lot of sense.
I'm actually furious I didn't think of that sooner. That makes so much sense.
Yeah, no, Texas makes a lot of sense for Cal. But yeah, I mean, long story short, I mean, if we're talking about Hurley leave, I do think I don't think the NBA. I think if Hurley got approached by an NBA team, I think we're in big trouble. I think he definitely goes.
I would agree with that
because I think he'd be successful there. Actually, I think Dan would be a car crash NBA coach.
I would also agree with that.
Which could be why he never takes the job. That's why.
Yeah. Well, who cares if you're getting paid millions and millions?
He's always come back. And he's literally talked openly about it.
Yeah, no, there's no joke. If an NBA team comes, we're in deep doo-doo. But I mean, but here's the other thing. I'm a big, when it comes to Dan, if we're talking about him specifically, money's always important, but there is the thing with the Hurleys that there isn't just an OG about them. There's a certain Northern Jersey, New York City street cred thing with them, right? Where I always joke about wanting my corners kind of thing. And and maybe this is the Homer and me speaking as a UConn fan, but I think achievement and being at a place where you can be really successful and staying true to your roots is something that means a lot to Dan. I just do. And loyalty is another huge thing. And he almost did not leave UConn. So it wasn't down. He spurned the money at Pitt. It came down to either staying at URI or coming to UConn. And it was close. It took them 3-4 days to figure it out. I mean, they sat and locked themselves in the house and almost had a family capitulation over this in terms of what they were going to do. It was like a papal bull, right? It was a whole fucking thing. And I think there's that. And in his neck of the woods, this is the biggest program in the Northeast. We're the best program in the Northeast right now. And definitely has the brightest future, right? And you're staying closer to home. You're still getting paid a lot. You still got a chance to win national championships. There's some instability with conference alignment, realignment, and what all that's going to look like and that shit. But, I think for the meantime, I just don't see him, unless Kentucky did something so psychotic that you couldn't say no to it. But
right.
I also think if there was anybody that could figure out a way to say no to it, it would be him. Or if it wasn't him, Andrea. And so
I think there's that. So achievement and like getting to that next level is a big thing. The one scenario, the two scenarios where I see him leaving, one, the NBA, because and I say this not just because I think he wants to prove himself at the NBA level. I think there's just a hook in the craw in that family that the NBA was the one that got away.
Yeah,
Right? That Bobby never
especially
got
with
that fair
Bobby.
crack.
Yeah,
Like
Yeah.
Bobby never
never
got
got
the
a
fair
fair
crack
shot.
at the NBA. And
Especially after he won 2 national titles as a collegiate player.
yeah, like Bobby, like that. The NBA for the Hurleys is the one that's gotten away. You know, like and to me, I don't. Bobby's not going to be an NBA coach, so that's not happening. But
Never. You
Danny's
know
got
what?
the shot.
I'm just look. They're freaking 11-2, and Quinn Snyder, who was a horrendous coach at Mizzou, was an excellent NBA coach. So I'm just saying, like, don't rule Bobby out there, man. The
Yeah,
NBA
maybe
is
not. I
fucking
mean,
weird.
they're not the same thing, and the skill level to coach, I think, at those levels are pretty significantly different. But like, I do think that's the golden goose for the Hurley family. Like, that's the one that got away, and I think that would be a significant motivator for him, and I wouldn't blame him. You know, like that's the hook in the craw, and when they all talk about it, I mean, I'm not trying to be corny or cheesy, but you can feel it. You know, like that's the fucking thorn in the ass of that family. That's the last unconquered territory. So I'd be very worried about the NBA. Duke, maybe, because, and I say this because of what I just said. I think the Raleigh Durham area is a little bit different in the sense that, like I said, it's all northern transplants. I mean, my younger sister lives down there, like with her Yankee husband, and everybody's a transplant in the Raleigh Durham area. So like it's a little bit more northern. We're not going to fucking Mississippi or a place where there's fewer teeth than people in the crowd. Like it's developed and it's a place, but it's also a program that I think just has no dignity. Their whole identity is swept up in being entitled and winning, and there's some family connections there. Like I feel like the Duke fan base, you know, they could learn to love Dan Hurley. I could not say that about North Carolina.
Yes,
I
I
think
would agree.
I think they'd hate him.
I would agree with that. The
And
thing that
I think Kentucky fans would hate him. I think like a lot of that Midwestern Southern sensibility. Like Dan is a kind of uniquely Northeastern, in your face, New York City kind of coach, and that's not everybody's cup of tea everywhere. And so I don't know, man. Like that's the one job that I think he. I mean, at this point, you have to think about it, right? But that's the only other college job that I'd be like, man, he might take that. Everything else, I don't know. I just don't know what the better move's going to be, and I know some fans like I I get really irritated with it because like while I'm really fascinated in coaches, what makes coaches good, what goes into the search process and the whole 9 yards, like that stuff fascinates me. The coaching carousel, like the drama that's around that, everybody's reflexive, like an insane desire to want to talk about every hot ticket rumor drives me fucking crazy. Like, and how, like, and look, I love Dan. Like, this is the guy that I want to be here for as long as he can be here. He hasn't won a fucking tournament game. So, like, I'd really appreciate it if everybody would chill the fuck out in the timeline and look at it
Thank
for what it
you.
is. Like, I think he's a sensational coach. I think he's going to win a lot of tournament games. I think we'll get to a Final Four at some point with him. His recruiting's too good, right? Like, it's just too good to not be there. But, like, at the same time, like, Kentucky's not going to look at him and go, yeah, man, that fucking guy's resume is a mile long because UConn got to number 2 for 3 weeks in December of a random college basketball season again. Like, they're going to be looking at Scott Drew. They're going to be looking at guys with national titles under their belt.
And as well they should, by the way. I mean, I
By the way,
like Dan, but let's be
100%.
fucking realistic here.
No, and it's just not. It's not real life, and I hate that people like build. The one thing that I kind of hate about our fan base and want to call out a little bit is that I don't know if there's another fan base in the country that kind of
straddles the line between massive superiority complex and massive inferiority complex on the flip of a dime.
I think
right? Like,
I agree with you. I think that the last 10 years of everything has just poured gas on the fire of that.
Sure, absolutely.
Why?
There's good reason for that. I'm not saying there's not realistic reasons for that, but like, I don't want to, like, how you go from puffing your chest out and talking about national titles and Final Fours and all the success that we've had and quite literally everything, and then literally a day later, like having a fucking panic attack because some dork maybe passingly said that Dan Hurley might be an interesting fit at Kentucky on a message board somewhere is fucking crazy.
It completely insane and unhinged. If you're worried about that, you have to understand that would mean that Dan Hurley has had to, at minimum, have won a national championship at UConn,
if not 2.
So, and by the way, yeah, I'll take that. If that's the trade-off,
Same
I will
here.
take it. Because then it becomes, so would you rather us not win a national championship so he doesn't go to Kentucky? The answer is no. The summation being, chill the fuck out. Like, there's a reason UConn football coaches weren't getting chased after by folks. Okay, like these are good problems to have, but that specific scenario was so much not a thing, not even possibly a thing. You know what it takes for me not to have a fucking stance on something on Twitter? I didn't say anything because I was like, I don't know what the fuck is going on here. Like what?
My least favorite thing on the internet, whether it comes to politics or, I mean, obviously we totally just amplified it tonight because we're cherry picking hot takes rather, right? So we're guilty of it too. But my least favorite thing about the internet is some fucking guy that has nothing to do with anything has a hot take or pontificates about something they either know a little bit about or nothing about. And then it instantly becomes everybody's talking about this. Like, a couple guys say a couple stupid things. Well, everyone's saying, right? Like, you know,
Yeah.
I got on Rob's shit today when I was on the live thing. I was like, he's like, you know how all the fans are going to go now. And I'm like, all the fans is like fucking 6 psychotic fans with fucking Twitter accounts that they only log into if we're losing to come on and fucking complain. And then it's summarily everybody's reactions to them that creates this false sense of narrative and conversation that is going on that literally doesn't mean anything.
Well, it's like what we talk about.
AKA
like, you don't
the
have
Frank
to get
from
upset.
Barstool of UConn.
Well, everybody was like, everybody was talking about like, there's some people online today going, oh, the UConn fans are losing their mind. I thought everybody was pretty fucking chill today. Honest to goodness, like I thought everybody was like, yeah, we lost the fucking game. Like,
yeah, the stuff that made me upset.
But that happens when you're 14-0.
There's some stupid fucking hot takes out there. We talked about them and amplified them. Probably not the smartest thing to do, but like, and there's always going to be an element of any online fan base that is bored as shit. They want something to do, and you start to nitpick. Like, it's really easy to look at something like on a stat sheet and you see Andre Jackson go 4 for 12 with zero context whatsoever, but you kind of just see it, right? You don't understand all the fucking 18 things going around it that are contributing to that, right? Whether it's guys not getting open on screens or whatever it so happens to be that might be driving that particular thing. Like, that stuff drives me nuts, but that's why I like things like Spaces, because we can get on here and we can fucking talk about it, right? And
I love it. We brought it
all 12 of the threes, he was wide open, and
we brought it full circle.
Stepped in and nailed it because they're stepping threes, and you should make stepping threes every single time.
And 4 of them are with a minute to go chasing a lost cause. So it's a completely it's a false number, and the people saying it know it's a false number, and that's why it makes me upset. But yeah, look, like the stuff today, like in-house, people talk about the guard rotations. Like, well, today is the first day they fucking were in danger really of losing with less than 10 minutes to go. So it could also be a lesson learned. So,
well, it's like one of those things. Like, if I told you on November 1st that the first 15 games that the coaching staff might fuck up the guard rotation a little bit in one of the first 15 games, guess how many people would have put their hand up and been like, yep, nope, I'll take that.
Yours truly.
You know,
and it's like at what point blowing the doors off of everyone were they supposed to know the guard rotations weren't going to work against the second best team in the league on the road on New Year's Eve? Like, and I do think you're right. I actually do think like most people took it so well to the point. That's why I was so upset over the technical discourse, you know. And like the other side, if you want something to be upset about, well, the foul discrepancy. Well, fucking, not like UConn was doing a whole fucking lot with the free throws they got. So if you want
No,
something,
and
Bill's
they
in
weren't
here,
seeking free throws either.
yeah.
You're gonna jack up 37 threes. You're not gonna get many free
I'm
throws.
more
well,
upset.
there was no free throws to go seek, dude. They fucking packed it in the key, and they left certain guys open, and they fucking did a great job covering Joey and covering Jordan, and like, dude, they had Donovan and Joey's lob scouted. That was the first time we had seen that. Like, they knew the play that we were gonna run. Like, they like. Guys, here's the thing. We're in conference play now, and so there's fucking 10 other teams in this conference that literally some asshole's job in the offseason
Is to
is to
watch the other
watch
conference games.
these teams play and watch these guys play from their high school footage and build a book a mile long. Like, Oklahoma State probably has about a 6-pager on us. Fucking Providence has probably an entire wall of shit that we do and run and successfully and not successfully that they're able to scout and get out ahead of. And like, we talked about it earlier this year. Somebody's going to have the scout. Like, somebody's going to figure it the fuck out. You can't be the number 2 team in the country and be on TV and play that many fucking games that early in the season and not expect that somebody's not fucking watching.
Yeah,
and taking notes and figuring it out.
And a big takeaway from that, because you made that point in the earlier space, which was really good, was that like that's my takeaway for Joey today. Like, I actually don't even think Joey's coming back down to earth as a shooter, more so that like there are no fucking open shots off screens.
Yeah, they know his roots.
None.
They know.
None.
They know it. Just like they knew Polly's after
Yeah,
2 years of watching Polly do the same thing.
Yeah, and I mean, I don't think they're like overly repetitive, and they'll make. Look, here's the thing: our coaching staff, guys.
Wait, they're allowed to make adjustments too.
Hold on.
Mm-hmm.
Our coaching staff might be like, we've noticed that now too. We will change what we do, right? And part of that in coaching is abusing what you can get away with.
Yeah,
right?
they were definitely waiting for someone to make them change.
Yeah, and so like that's the thing. So some things will get fucking switched around, you know. And I have some criticisms today. Like, yeah, the coaching staff got caught out between, especially in defensive rotations. Like, it's gonna fucking happen, man. And like, I'd like to see, instead of like, say, you know, we talk about like having Donovan and Adama on the floor. I don't want to see them on the floor at the same. Like, I'd love to see more of Joey and Hawkins on the floor. We've got 2 guys now burning around screens that you got to keep your eye on, right? Because now that starts to open up some options. So it's little tweaks, man. Like, it's little things. They're gonna find it. And you know what? Here's the other fucking thing. Like, we're scouting other teams too, right? Yeah. And we're gonna have books on other teams. And like, I know a lot of people are sitting there right now and going, well, we've only kind of looked okay the last 3 games. Dude, what do you think? Why do you think that is? Do you think that I know Patrick Ewing stinks, but like, he watches what we do. Like, fucking Villanova, the entire assistant coaching staff that Jay Wright had under him is still there. Like, they know reasonably what they're fucking doing. Like, Sean Miller, this isn't his first rodeo. Like, guys, they're going to scout us. And here's the other thing. Like, and I want to make sure people digest this. I said this in the earlier space. It could look worse in the next couple of games.
Yes, absolutely.
And you know what it's going to be? Not actually worse, right? It's going to be that teams have an idea of how to attack us, so we're not going to be blowing teams' doors off by double digits every night, and we may have to figure out ways to grind out games by 4, 5, and 6 points. That's what conference play fucking is. All right.
It's also we're playing 3 of our 5 toughest road games of the year.
Yeah,
right.
And it's the perfect time to do it. Do them early. Because I said this at the start 2 hours ago and a year ago.
Literally.
If they are, unless they totally implode here, which I don't think they will, like, they're still in great shape. Like, if UConn's a game out of first in the Big East after 6 games in the Big East,
we're gonna win the whole thing.
They're gonna fucking
kill
it. Go. When did the Calhoun teams always get red fucking hot? When did they always do it? February.
February.
UConn's February is as soft as I can remember a Big East schedule looking. Now they got to play it. Doesn't mean it'll be easy. It absolutely guarantees that the really stupid fucking loss will happen right in the middle of it. But today, Xavier was great. A lot of things teams can watch that, see what's in there. That does not mean any of them can fucking run it. That's the other part. Xavier could have shown a million things 10 other teams in this league could try and do. They aren't going to be able to pull it off, because Xavier has got the personnel and the coaching to do it. So that's the other side of it. I don't think today really changes much of a fucking thing. It sucks. You don't like losing ever, but it's life in the Big East. This is not going to be 18-2, winning 15 of the games by 15 points. This isn't fucking America East here. This is Vermont. I did have one before I kind of maybe sign off. Hotballs, did you? Jordan seemed a little tentative to you almost in his decision making.
They all did.
I know, but with Jordan, it's like because my expectations are so high. Like he seems to not even like when he was taking shots today. He seemed like unsure.
We have just certain guys on the team that I'm a big advocate of being able to spread it around, have the depth, the ability to kind of lean back on people to kind of take charge and figure shit out. We talk about it every week, right? Somebody new steps up to the plate, does it. I felt like today was the first game where everybody was kind of waiting around looking for somebody to step up and do it.
Yeah, 100%.
And nobody did. And that's the first time it's happened all year. And like, look, man, Jordan Hawkins might be the best pure shooter in the entire conference. Adama Sanogo might be the best actual player in the conference. Like, in terms of getting the rack, getting fouled, like Tristan Newton might be in the top 5 in the conference, right? Like, we just have so many guys that can do that. And there's going to be games where, everybody goes into that Spider-Man meme and is like looking around, pointing at each other, like, do you want to do it? And, I think assertiveness sometimes with Adama, and we talked about this a couple weeks ago in the Butler game where, like, the big evolution that it seemed like with Adama was that he was like, fuck you, give me the ball. I'm going to score fucking 10 points right now in the basketball game. That didn't happen today.
Yeah.
That was old Adama. That was like, man, I'm going to.
Yeah, that was the.
But he was also going against Fremantle and Nunji at the same time. Which did contribute.
It was Adama at Creighton like last year, yes. Adama, but that's. Again, like
it's going to happen at blips in times, and I think this is more of a blip than the norm, but like, we have guys that can literally just take games over, right? Change the entire complexion of everything that's happening. And we got some guys that get a little shy on the trigger finger. And I said this, I alluded to this earlier, where that's not necessarily a terrible problem. These guys are looking to kick. They're looking to distribute. They're looking to lean on their teammates. Like, all that.
Which is how you want to play basketball. You want to
right.
You want to turn a great shot into a greater shot into the greatest shot.
Yeah. But there's times where just one guy needs to be like, you know what? This isn't fucking working. Guys, I don't want to be a dick, but just give me the fucking ball. Right? Mm-hmm. Like, this is my game
Andre
now.
kind of wanted to do that in the first half, and like he almost got a triple-double.
Andre wants to do that every game.
In the second half. So
Andre wants to do that every game. Andre wants to do that every game. Andre's
he had
not
6,
that guy.
6, and 8 at the half and ended with 12, 8, and 8.
Yeah.
So,
like, but the thing is,
taken out of his hands, he stopped distributing, and then he stopped hunting for rebounds, which if he had kept doing that, that would have been a big part of the game too. But
I think
his shooting woes, even though the last 4 of those missed threes were in garbage time, did contribute to him not having the ability to.
Well, it's just empty numbers. Like, I'm not even worried about that. I'm more, looking at it from the standpoint of, I want to see Jordan Hawkins and Adama Sanogo step into leadership positions on the team. Is what I want to see on a more consistent basis. And, Jordan during the Villanova game really kind of took it over. when he felt like doing it, right? And today didn't feel like that. And that's not a knock. That's just, this is what sophomores do. You got to you've been there a year. You fucking look like an idiot.
After all, it means wise fool, literally.
Well, wise fool is a phenomenal description because it's like you've been there long enough to fucking know shit, but you haven't been there long enough to know that you're king shit. You know, like I think that's kind of the thing with Jordan and particularly Adama that I want to see is them just being more assertive and being like, man, you know what? This isn't working out for everybody. You know, Andre, can you just get me the fucking ball in the low post? I'm just gonna go fucking elbow this guy's teeth right into his fucking brain and score some points, and we're just gonna go home.
Yeah, and I think, and you know who else will be better for today? Having been, I mean, he was terrible, but today will be great for Alex Caravan. Like,
Definitely.
100%.
There's so much video they can show that isn't.
Oh.
Holy shit! It's
So
now
especially on the defensive
he was
end.
so bad defensively. Like, I don't even know, and I don't even mean this to be mean.
If you're gonna keep your hands up, don't jump into the guy. Stay straight
up. That
up.
guy leads
take the contact
first on dudes down in the post.
Stay
more
straight.
than any long fucking four I've ever seen in my life. It's just Alex Caravan's nipples coming right at you. Square up for the fucking basket, and here come the nips, man, and goes into him, and he turns around and goes, "Why are you calling that?"
For the third time in the half, Alex. I don't know.
I don't know, dude.
Keep
got
your
cooked.
feet on the ground, Alex.
Well,
if they're gonna go up, don't go up.
It's keeping your feet on the ground. It's not getting cooked off of screens. Like he's the one guy on screens that gets absolutely fucking murked. Like loses guys by feet. And like I'm not even roasting the guy. He's so polished offensively. Like he's 6 years older than his age offensively. Like his body control, his ability to see the court, like passing, his post passing's revolting. Like, you know, pick and pops, you know, threes in transition. Like he's so polished offensively. Defensively, he is the offensive version of Andre Jackson as a freshman.
Mm-hmm.
Like just fucking, you can kind of see it. Like he's got an idea of what the general shit that he needs to do, but like he's just, the game's moving too fast for him right now. And you got to give Xavier credit, man. They picked on him. 31.17 rebounds at the 4 spot today.
Well, he is right now our only 4.
Well, and this is the other thing that we were talking about, Samson. And you know, Jared was trying to cool the.
I'm actually on Jared's side in that argument.
I am too.
But I
think
too.
But here's the difference between the two. Alex is that polished stone offensively. Samson's length and rim protection, game changer defensively.
Definitely.
Like
to be
Samson's
clear,
got to get 4 or 6 points a game.
I am on Jared's side with the Samson thing, but I think in this game, and honestly, a game against some of the
Creighton with Kalkbrenner too.
Creighton. Those are the games where I buy it. I think folks have just. It's been almost a running gag, the default to bring it up after like the Butler game. Like Samson has a huge role to play on this team, but it's really only a huge role in a few games.
It's gonna be rim running and defense. It's gonna be rim running and
games
defense.
When we need size at the 4, and Danny does not want to play Adama and Donovan on the court at the same time because he doesn't want Adama gassed in March.
Well,
I don't think we're gonna get our wish ever, and I kind of hope we don't because.
Oh no! I disagree. This is part of what I said. Like we haven't seen it yet. I'm not saying it's likely, but like, well, today was the first loss, guys. Maybe they'll try.
I just feel Bill Clingan spamming.
Maybe they will
giant
go the Adrian
in the background.
route.
Guys, I was gonna say something about that. Bringing Donovan and Adama in at the same time because being like a little drunk tonight and like wanting to get all happy and stuff.
Yeah,
I just figured out. I put on the Oregon game.
I love it. That is the reason we should bring it up.
So I'm like, I just switch on the Oregon game, and I'm like, okay, let me just watch this and get all giddy again. And
you're healing yourself.
Yes. And that actually happened. It happened in the Oregon game. They put Donovan and Adama in together and we went on a run. And it was against a team with 2 effective big men. And I feel like tonight, at times, I'm not saying the whole time, but like tonight, I think would have been a night where, I mean, not tonight, earlier. I say tonight.
Last
year.
Last year.
Last year. Well, that's what we'll refer to it. We got to put it in the past.
Yeah,
as far as possible.
We're on to Wednesday.
Yeah, so like
We're on to Providence.
Last year when we made this mistake.
So yeah, they have Fremantle in there and Nunji together. I feel like at times they could have utilized both bigs at the same time today. Just not the whole time though.
Well, we have as always, for like a million times I say I was gonna log off, but seriously, I have rattled the man's cage enough. I think we have. All right, Bill. Do you want to tell us all to go to hell? Because I wouldn't blame you. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, Mr.
Bill.
Yeah, well, you're just talking about the Oregon game, about Donovan and Adama being in together. They were in together for like 30 seconds, and Hurley.
It was one. It was one possession, and we're going to treat it like, when John Lennon met Howard Cosell. Like, we're gonna act like this was the thing that happened for fucking ever. It was one possession.
Yeah. So I mean, what I can tell you is it's gonna happen. Them together. They have practiced it, but I don't know if it would have worked very well tonight. Xavier's a very good team. I tell you, offensively, they were lights out, and you hear them talk about their identity a lot, and I think they got away from that identity today. And I mean, there wasn't any penetration, there wasn't any confidence in. I didn't see any confidence in the players trusting each other to drive to the hoop, and it was, and that's part of their identity, drive, kick it out, score, it's just, that's what I saw. And, it's going to happen, it's just, we're 14-1, it's a good record, if you ask me, and,
Yeah, well, this is the thing I keep trying to impress upon people. There's 359 other Division I basketball programs. So we were the 357th team to lose a game.
Yeah.
I think that's okay.
They're doing some things pretty good.
Yeah. So, the thing that would have been, and this is why I can't get into, the Donovan Adama thing together today. Like, who takes Fremantle in that situation? Who's way more mobile than both of them? Like, this isn't a knock on your son, but, Nunji's one thing. I think both of them match up fine with him. But, Fremantle's a little bit of a different guy over there in terms of how you attack him. And because he can play on the perimeter a little bit, and they like to play him away from the basket a little bit more than sort of your other traditional bigs. My whole thing is this, though, and we've talked about this with, this team's depth, right? They can go 10 guys deep. They don't have to go 10 guys deep. They're going to use their depth and their personnel in a way and manner. They've kind of done it already this year to a certain degree, getting everybody involved. But I think heading forward, when they get Sampson back, you've got two interesting options at the 4. You've got a very offensive guy that can play the 4 and Alex Caravan. You got a rim runner, protector in Sampson at the 4 when you need to get some length, maybe get some size, get a guy that can get up and down a little bit more length on the court, right? This was a kind of game where I think maybe, Sampson's not shutting down Zach Fremantle, right?
Andre played
or
very well tonight, by the way.
None of them are shutting those guys down, but could take the 31-17 ain't going to happen with Samson Johnson. It's probably going to be more like 20 and 9 or 10, right? But that's the difference, right? Now we're talking tie basketball games. Some plays go your way, things happen, right? And so I think we'll be able to use our personnel a little bit more constructively. I think we'll see Donovan and Adama together at some point. It's going to be into. I wouldn't be surprised. I don't know if it's crazy.
I wouldn't be surprised if we were the Creighton game against.
You know who I think we may see it against? You know who I mean? We may see it Wednesday. We may see it against Providence.
Could be Wednesday.
Yep.
You're looking at Croswell and Hopkins down there, and like Hopkins is explosive, dude. But like Croswell's a lumbering fucking goof. So like
technical.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like Donovan obliterates that dude, and then he just I mean, look, Hopkins is going to get what he's going to get. Like I'm a big Bryce Hopkins guy. I think he's fantastic. There's not another college basketball player in the country quite like him, right? Like he's built like a brick. He's explosive. He plays like a big. He's size wise close to Andre Jackson, but like I think Adama will get him. But him and Donovan stuffing up the lane a little bit. Andre's a better version of Devin Carter, basically. Right now, I think Tristan and fucking Dinkhole Bynum is a comical matchup lengthwise. And then you got Noah Locke on the outside or Breed, right? Who either Caravan or, I mean, name anybody is going to fucking get Aline, Diarra. Like, and then we just go deeper than they do. They don't have a single guy off the bench. And I'm like, oh, man.
Yeah, my Twin Towers thought, like, in addition to wanting to see it because it'd be cool, I don't think it's something at all that's for, like, in a way that's for, like, the teams with the good bigs, though. Like, I don't think it's a Xavier. Like, we're saying it because it's after the Xavier game they lost. Donovan only played 7 minutes. I don't think the Twin Towers thing is a thing you do against Xavier at all for the reasons HotBalls outlined. I'm not sure you even do it against Creighton, but against a team like Providence or
you can't Twin Towers. I mean, look,
you can't Twin Tower 2 skilled bigs. I don't think
you can't Twin Towers against them. They're playing 4 and out. Creighton. They're going to play Kalkbrenner. I mean, who's Donovan going to go to? Okay, so if it's Sonogo or Donovan on Kalkbrenner, theoretically, who's the other guy going? Do you want Sonogo guarding Trey Alexander or Baylor Shireman? Like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, that's not happening. So I think they'll go a little bit bigger at the 4. I totally think Caravan's going to have a great game against Creighton. I think Shireman and Caravan are going to score 1 billion points over each other all game.
You get Spider-Man meme it.
It's going to be a fucking
I
joke.
can't wait to see that happen.
Yeah, nobody's going to defend. They're both going to score 40 points each, and they're just going to dump threes on each other's asses the whole game.
Sideways, falling backwards.
It's going to be a joke.
Free throw line extended.
Those two are going to be French kissing at half court at the end of the game. It's going to be gross. They're going to be so in love with playing each other. But like the Providence game, that's the game where I think it makes some sense to maybe roll Donovan and Sonogo, because so much of what they do, Providence, is they like to roll Bryce, but they play Hopkins as the 4. The Crosswell's the guy they like to put down low. I'd literally stuff the lane with both of them, let Bryce Hopkins shoot mid-range jumpers the entire game. That would be the way I attack them. Devin Carter is going to be a guy that UConn fans absolutely hate next year, probably more than anything. And he's the goofiest looking son of a bitch on planet Earth. Which, by the way, Ed Cooley needs to get like some sort of national award for finding the goofiest looking college basketball players on planet Earth. And
it's important for folks to know that for as much as Mr. Hotball shitting on Providence, Mr. Hotball, you've been very consistent in thinking Providence next year is going to be very, very good.
I think they're nuts next year. I think they're a year away. Like, I think they're going to beat some decent teams this year. They may be really good down the stretch, but like they're not a top tier team this year, I don't think. But dude, Devin Carter's going to be scary if Bryce Hopkins sticks around, which I think he's going to have to. He could be a Big East Player of the Year next year. And they've got some pieces, man, on that bench that they'll develop. Like, I know we laugh about Corey Floyd, but like Corey in year 3, 4, like he'll be the player, man.
There.
If they've got talented guys, like Carter was like the number 72 guy out of high school, man. He's Andre. He's a diet Andre Jackson. He's a more raw, like really in your face defender, like can kind of explosively get to the rack. Not the best ball handler, not a pure shooter by any means, right? They're very similar guys. So that'll be interesting, but I think we're just more talented than them at almost every single position on the floor. So theoretically, minus us pooping all over ourselves, that's a game we should probably win Wednesday. But yeah, man. I mean, I just I think if we see Donovan and Adama, that's a matchup where it makes sense when they decide to roll Crosswell and Hopkins at the same time. I wouldn't be surprised to see that at all. But I don't think it's going to be for extended rotations because I think Providence is going to be trying to work Noah Locke in. And they also have who's that other fucking point guard that they have? It's not Bynum. It's the kid that's actually a freshman that's better than Bynum.
God, Noah Locke. You're right. They don't have a single normal looking fucking person. Incredible.
Noah Locke. No, they've got a freshman point guard who's actually legit. Like he's so much better than Bynum, and Cooley refuses to play him. Who is it?
Well, while you look that up, Bill, I have really the key moment 3 hours into our space that must be asked. How much tape breakdown was there amongst the team of the burrito roll?
Why did you do this to me?
I haven't heard anything from Donovan about the burrito roll.
I hope so.
What would they have been focusing on instead? Trying to beat a top team in the Big East? No. I don't know if you had any thoughts on whatever the hell that was you witnessed.
It was very entertaining. I got to tell you, when they filmed HotBalls in the tunnel, hopping around like he's getting ready to get in the ring or whatever, that was hysterical.
Did that get you hot and bothered, Bill? Because
Dude, that was hot and bothered. I don't know about that.
Not the terminology that I think most of us would have gone with.
But I got to tell you, it was pretty funny, and the fact that, John Pearson from TNH threw it out there and stuff, it was, I got to tell you got some attention, dude. And it was overall, it was pretty freaking funny.
Elected officials. I mean,
it was great. It was great.
Governor's seen my ass. The senator's seen my ass. Bill Murray's seen my ass. A lot of people saw my ass. Well, I feel like our relationship's on a different level now, Bill.
I'm telling you, when I was watching it live and when that ass came out, I go, oh no.
Bill, can I tell you?
Dude? Bill, my wife calls it the what butt. That's what she calls my ass, the what butt. Because my pants, I'm a bad plumber's crack guy. Like it just always happens to me. And
shocker.
I have a shapely ass. Even when I was at like peak athletic ability when I was younger, like I always had no ass, and so I knew that shit was going to happen as soon as it did, and I got hot out the gates. Like I felt really good coming out, and then I saw the kid fucking couldn't figure it out, so I was like, God damn it! Now I got to sit here, and I gotta wait. I gotta let him. You got to catch up. I got to make.
Wow, you can't break kayfabe like that.
No, you can. I got to break down the science of this because it's important. Because I'm gonna. I want other opponents in the future. Maybe at some away arenas or something. That fucking blob at Xavier. Fuck that guy. Like I think I could take him, no problem. But and so he comes rolling through, and I kind of had to do my thing. But I wanted to make it good. I wanted to make it fun, and the more ridiculous and stupid it was. The more people that saw it, dude, the guy that I mean, I talk to him literally 3 times a year. The guy that does all my insurance and stuff, he goes, holy shit, and like texts it to me, and I'm like, yeah, it was me, man.
Yeah, Bill, the fun part for me was that I wasn't down there with him, but I was like sitting with him. So he comes back and like just informing him on some of the things that have occurred, that it was on national TV. That it was narrated by Bill Raftery, that also his ass was out, and that he did not catch it in time, which was a belief you had.
Jason Benetti did you dirty, HotBalls, too, by the way.
I'm more mad at Bill. Like, he called me a 4.0 student. Like, who the fuck does that? Do you know how bad that hurts my street cred? Like, you can't do that.
Benetti's though was kind of mean. The tone of it was kind of mean.
Jason Benetti's one of the nicest humans on earth. For him to do that to you is my favorite part.
Yeah, no, Jason Benetti's been a long time HotBalls aficionado. So
another one I just let in here. Megan's here. Good evening, Megan. Happy New Year.
Good evening. Happy New Year,
Happy New Year, Megan.
Megan, what the hell are you doing up at 1:45?
We couldn't think of a better and cooler and more social way to celebrate the New Year than by doing a space.
So I was actually at a annual party that I have been going to since I was at UConn. It's by my like UConn besties.
Okay,
And
popular.
Wow.
We get it. Must be nice.
yeah, so I just got home. Figured I would jump in here and say Happy New Year to all you animals.
Yeah. Happy New
Year.
Year, Meg.
Happy New Year.
I get being at social situations and seeing spaces and feeling the need to leave and join.
Just got home. I had 4 glasses of champagne over many hours, so I was never drunk. But
Little
we'll
bit of
have
the
a
bubbly.
hideous hangover tomorrow.
You've
gonna be
never
great.
been. Nobody's ever been less drunk than you. I agree.
Yeah, it's really upsetting, frankly.
Nobody's ever drank champagne and gotten drunk.
It's impossible. It's impossible.
can't be
That
done.
doesn't happen.
Can't do
be
it.
done. We can try. I mean, I don't want to rule anything out. No.
It just means the headache will be horrendous when I wake up in the morning. So
By
we're
the
just
way,
trying to
'cause
like hydrate a little.
I listened back. I listened to the earlier space because I'm normal like that. Dorca's not dead. So
She's
there
not
you go.
dead. Yeah, she's not dead.
I'm very happy about that.
I was kind of appreciative of capturing your moment of panic.
It was.
It
It was amazing.
That moment of panic was awesome, Megan.
I mean, I was
not to say
watching
awesome,
the game
but
live and immediately reacting to Dorca being run into, which we never like to see. It's just been such a like series of this. Like as soon as someone comes back, someone gets hurt. You know, like, and Caroline finishes the game with an ice pack on her head. That girl's brains are scrambled at this point. I feel so bad for her.
Applesauce.
Well, we
She
did
got
get
an elbow to the head late in the game.
the most important piece of news today, though, is that Ice DeBerry can do the gritty.
Oh, I missed
Oh,
that.
did you not? Oh, you didn't see this. UConn women's. You were being social.
I was
UConn,
interacting with humans in real life.
I don't believe in it personally. UConn women's basketball had a very important video update that they sent out at like 10 p.m. I think.
Oh,
Or that's when I saw it. Yeah. It was
Ooh!
an
Wow!
important
Ooh!
moment in Ice DeBerry's recovery is she can do the gritty. I was like, are they just trolling the fan base? Because it's like an important moment in her recovery, and we've been through 500 players getting fucking destroyed this year. And
considering she like dislocated her kneecap, I would like there'd be like limited gritty until we're like, got the whole knee situation figured out.
No, my
especially
counter
when
is-
Adam Schefter wrecked his MCL doing it.
Yeah, it's maybe like not something if you already have a patella with tendencies to just pop out of socket, I just feel like we should just chill.
No, if she can gritty, she can play against South Carolina. Damn it, that's all I'm saying.
I just got a doozy of a DM.
Oh boy.
God.
Oh
Does it
boy.
involve the gritty?
No, Seabash, I'm going to give him some credit here. This is a great idea for the next big fight for me.
Oh no.
Hot dog guy from DePaul. They're like top 15 shot putter. That's also their fucking DePaul basketball hot dog champion.
Damn it, we had dibs in here earlier. Fuck, we'd be up till 4 a.m.
I'd go to the Big East tournament a day early. I'd go to the DePaul day to do that, to meet that challenge. If we got a good charity on that, like good Chicago.
I feel like I need more information about this person. He's a shot putter and
he's like a dude level shot putter too. Like he's a fucking man's man.
Would you believe that I was a shot putter in high school? True story.
Yeah?
Yeah. I was all conference on a state championship track team.
Wow,
true story.
Did you do steroids, Meg?
I did not. I actually, it turns out in the late 90s in women's sports, if you just have a coach that does a lot
massive advantage.
Who like knows about the sport. That's kind of all it takes, really.
Megan's basically saying that Rebecca Lobo wasn't actually that good. She was just very fortunate.
In high school, let's be clear. I'm talking high school sports. High school sports.
What are you talking about? Southwick High School basketball is about as top level as it gets.
In all seriousness, we have been talking about, how Lobo and whatever compares. And I had been trying to like tell the Dimeback boys that like, no, Lobo had much higher skill game than you are all remembering. And I like forced them to watch a game from the 95 season. And they were all like, oh shit, she did have like a turnaround jump shot, like out to the 3-point line. Like, yes, she did.
Yeah.
Well, how about this?
There's a reason why she's the Hall of Famer.
How about this for historical comp?
Oh no.
Before Bill kills me.
Oh, don't do this. Don't bring up
I want to do it. I want to do it. Let me do it. Can I do it?
Yeah,
I'm ready. Let's hear it.
I just want Bill to yell at me when I say this. We got Donovan Clingan at Bristol Central. We got Rebecca Lobo at Collin High School.
Southwick Tolland.
She's from Mass,
High school
technically.
Yes,
So
Southwick.
she's
No,
from Southwick,
that's what I'm saying.
Mass.
Southwick Tolland is the high school there.
Oh, is that the name of it?
Yeah, no, not Tolland in Connecticut.
Oh, I was
Southwick.
confused.
Yeah.
The Notch. She's from the Notch.
I would like the Notch back. Sage, who's probably asleep here, knows.
I feel like after
locally developed elite talents. I mean that in a nice way. I don't mean that in a mean way.
My wife played against Lobo and Walters.
She did in the tournament, right?
Yes.
That's right.
It was the 16th seed that year.
Yep.
That's right.
Or was it
116,
94?
yeah.
Was it 94 or 95, Bill?
I think it was 94. I can't remember. It might have been 95, but I believe it was 94.
Oh, we got to look this up.
And Stacy was, I believe she was a freshman or a sophomore. I can't remember.
Oh, that's wild.
I remember her. I feel like I remember. I've told you this in the past. I felt like I remember her. NCAA women's tournament.
While he looks that up, Megan, it's important to note the background of what you were saying. The problem, and I say this with actual respect because they're all great players, but like, I feel like the ADB folks, they're remembering like Stacy Hansmeyer and early Kara Walters and assuming that's what Rebecca was like. Nah.
Yeah. No.
Like, not that. Very not that.
Yeah, she had a really high, like, especially for like that era.
95. It was 95. 116 game, March 16th, 1995.
On the road to the perfect season.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And I believe Stacy had a pretty good game that night.
It wasn't loud. I mean, it was 105-75. That's what they're.
Oh.
It's actually pretty competitive.
Yeah, that was a fun team. That was like 8th grade for me.
Before my time.
All right.
And I grew up like 20 minutes down the road, so it was cool. I went to a lot of those games.
I mean, Meg Barr and
Sorry
I
to
are
make
right around the
everyone
same.
feel
We're
old.
right around the same timeline.
Yeah, no, Meg's old. You should bring it up a lot.
I'm
really
sneaky
like-
old. I have youthful looks, but
Well, yes, but no.
That's what I say. Everybody thinks I'm 20, Meg, just like you.
Nobody thinks 20
Meg-
stone.
can I tell you, I got aggressively carded at the Husky Ticket Project event. Aggressively carded.
That's
Yes.
got to be the best feeling on planet Earth.
I was dying. My brother goes up to get a beer for him and Russ. She is like, who is this other beer for? And he like points at Russ at the table. He's not even over at the bar. And she's like, oh yeah, you're fine. I go to get a beer for myself. And this lady will not even pick up the beer. And I'm like, can I have a beer? And like aggressively carded me. I was like, oh. And she was like, anyone who looks under 30 gets carded. And I was like, well, boy, are you in for a surprise.
I see. Whenever anybody does that to me now, I always whip my ID back out and be like, card me again.
Here you go.
Well,
Megan,
on
what a
numerous
youthful Adonis
occasions,
I am.
I'm 25. My youngest sister is not even legal yet. There's been instances where I've gotten carded and she has not gotten carded.
Oh yes, my brother does not get carded. He's got way more gray hair than I does. He's 2 years younger than me, and it never ceases to make. You'll enjoy that for a long time, is what I'm saying. That's gonna be fun for you.
But she also looks a lot older than I do, even though I'm 4 years older.
You should never say that to her. Just a heads up. You probably know.
I know she actually knows the whole situation, and she's the one who brings it up. So
it's just sometimes you get the baby face. It's just what happens.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, I was never blessed with that. But no, Meg, I thought your takes earlier in the earlier space were really good. So you see, Meg's the better version of me. She made the great takes, and then boom, social event. Meanwhile, here I am, just hanging out on news.
Stewing like a little angry man in a volcano.
Only people I'm mad at are so-called members of the fan base. I think everybody, by and large, is completely fine.
Yeah, there's definitely some people who need to remove their diapers.
Which is not surprising, to be clear.
Did people really think?
You still think I'm talking about this one guy? It's not. I'm talking about this general concept. Just as Basil Street. It is through some street search. I've been talking to a couple of guys. One who I did get to know, but a lot of this is completely, especially he's the 13 who's maybe just still pretty young. I don't care how old you are. All these gifts you can do at different price points and for different to ages of kids, and the own tree thing is vital if you want to make the kind of 4 and 5 year olds not actually quite attuned to what's going on.
I agree, Sage.
Sage is
Sage talking in his sleep.
This is like a new version of
I
Sage.
have no idea what that's going. Somebody on Ambien?
I've
Is that?
absolutely no. I've less.
This is amazing. Did he just talk in his sleep?
No, I'm quasi here.
I love it.
Yeah.
Incredible.
Hurley,
Yeah.
one thing about the Xavier game that has come up, my father actually told it to me. Hurley in his defense, we know he has the thing where he brings the big up and does the flare like trap, and then the guy gets back. Xavier is like one of the few teams that can roast that to shit.
Yeah,
Roast that to shreds.
That was the first team all year I saw that actually they got Adama out of they burned Adama on it. And
well, it's also like the first team in the 5 years that he's run it. There not many people have roasted it. And if you actually, it's a very weird style of defense where you bring the second big up and try to trap the screen and the ball handler at the same time and then be able to get back.
I love
According to my father, who is a big man, he's never seen it before.
We've turned it. This is like game theory with Sam Vecini now. I love it. No, it's a good point, Owen. I wasn't expecting that in the weeds at 154.
Well, no, I forgot about that. He said it until like probably like 1 o'clock, and then we've kind of like been having the non-real basketball like talk about the game.
Yeah, not that our spaces are ever organized, but I mean,
I know they aren't. Yeah. But it was like between the last time we talked about the game and now, it's kind of where it came into my mind. But it's definitely a weird defense that I've never seen anyone else run. It's a good defense to run if you have the athleticism to get back quickly, because it like makes the screener make up his mind. But if you have the big who can roll, that's where it can get exposed.
That's a good point. I really liked. I liked the 1-3-1 zone press we did though. Like I was not anticipating that shit.
I think he's been looking at the UConn archive footage, because isn't the 1-3-1 technically the Calhoun press, or is that the 1-2?
Yes, it is. Textbook, actually.
Now the other side of it is, okay, now it's on tape, so I'm not going to be somebody next game that doesn't, if they lose, if they don't run, it's gonna. You could just write down, why did we do the 1-3-1? Because it's fucking on tape. But that was kind of
to quote Sun Tzu, all battles are won or lost before they're fought.
UConn was undeniably the best team in the sport over the first month and a half. Since the Georgetown game, they have been not at all that. Jonathan Warner from makingthemadness.com. Jonathan, I want to know what might have happened when they started playing Georgetown.
Should I let T God in?
I don't want to talk to T God right now. Fuck him.
Okay, fair. Franklin's in here too. Franklin, if you want to speak, because God knows you've been through it, man, feel free to request. Megan, are you going to the Providence game?
I am not going to. I am going to the Creighton game. I will be there at Creighton.
You should, Megan. This sounds weird. Pop in the DMs. We have some Creighton plans that you are more than welcome to participate in.
Dope. Word. I'm going to be there with the brother as well.
If you enjoy Ted's, let me know. That's all I'm saying.
Cool. Great.
There are plans.
Maybe people. I may be bringing a flock of humanity to there. Many people who are not privy to the ways of college basketball. Big fucking nerds that need to be accustomed to it.
Teds that may or may not have fire code violations every single night.
That's great.
Good. That's a requirement.
So wait. So can we just go back? Are you, Hurley? Have you been melting down all night?
No. Not as much as you would maybe have thought. I'm totally I was fine with the game, whatever. Like Xavier's good, whatever. My meltdown was the whole fan base gets behind Dan Hurley for 5 years about wacky Dan Hurley, wacky Dan Hurley, wacky Dan Hurley, and now suddenly they all want him to not be wacky Dan Hurley because he got.
I mean, I
a technical call that never gets called.
Like, you don't love the technical, but here's the thing: the refs were dog shit all night. They were calling it one-sided, and maybe it does kind of feel like they're a little out to get him. Like,
I just said that. I was like, you can't
Jeff Goodman and fucking Rob were on their stupid ass thing saying like, you can't be like that. Okay, yes, Dan shouldn't ride the Lightning every night, right? Like, I think he invites some of it.
Sure.
It makes it difficult. However, if referees are coming into a game with bullets in the chamber already, that's fucking a problem.
It is,
That
and
the
it seems pretty
conference
clear
needs to
that's what's
fucking address.
happening.
I
That's
don't
what we
give a
call
shit
rabbit
about these stupid assholes'
ears.
feelings about how he made them feel. That's not their job to feel anything. Their feelings need to go in the fucking garbage, and they need to call the game the way that they see it. And I understand the nature of human nature, but I don't give a flying fuck what they think about how Dan Hurley treats them. All
I
right?
don't either. It's a bunch of whiny little baby shit.
But
Yeah.
He's
but
been
Jeff
good this
Anderson
year.
did show a lot of
Thank you,
restraint on
Bill.
Wednesday night when Dan basically said, "You're a fucking clown" to his face like 3 or 4 times, and they caught
Well,
it.
you know what? He was a clown.
He
It was
was.
fucking
He
clown.
was a clown.
And there's plenty of times to call a technical. They had when he called him a peckerhead at the under 16 or whatever it was. Like, that's a perfect time to tee a guy up. Not when it's a 1 possession game under 2 minutes in the big fucking East.
When you've just blown a call, like, let's be clear, that was a bad call. Tristan Newton
Megan,
had a clean steal.
Meg, my point basically was like, you got to realize if you're a ref and you hate him, like the minute you tee him up, you're golden because he's going to shut up the rest of the game. He's not going to get tossed, especially not after the Nova game last year. If you want to fucking do it with 12 minutes to go in the game. You're going to bliss.
You want to tee him up
or
if
pull
he
the
hits a little
Calhoun and
edgy.
tee him up in the first 5 minutes.
That's what I was just gonna say. Like, if you don't want to listen to him all game, you just go up to him before the game, and be like, Dan, I hear shit from you tonight. I'm gonna tee you up instantly, and you tee him up as soon as you can do it, and you put him on ice. It's as simple as that. If you're an official, I'm so tired of hearing about what the officials' fucking stupid ass feelings are. And here's the other thing, and we were trying to tie this in. Meg, you'd actually be perfect to fucking jump into this. This is a thing that I have with this conference in general, where I feel like it's gotten a little too Catholic. Like, it's gotten a little too good boy. Like, I feel like its nuts have been chopped off a little bit, where everybody's sitting there going, oh, well, the coach said this, and then it's the Big East, man. Like, it's the Big East. Like, what the fuck are we doing? It's New York. It's Philadelphia. It's Boston. Fuck the referee and fuck calling fouls, because that's what makes this fucking conference entertaining. I want to see somebody fucking rip somebody's arm off and beat them to fucking death with it. And if they call a foul, it better be fucking legit. And that's what made the conference such an entertaining product to begin with. It was personality. Can you imagine John Thompson today?
Oh my God.
He'd be teed up 6 times a fucking game. Or nuts. Even, look,
John
John
Thompson would get ejected for 2 technicals in 5 minutes.
Jim Boeheim in his prime would last fucking 16 minutes per game. Like, this is insanity that we're actually having to have this like, oh, don't be mean to the referees in the Big East. Like, fucking Andre Jackson hits a fucking 3 and mouths off to Kyle Neptune, and they teed him up. Do you realize that? Remember when they used to do the little fucking Big East weekly highlight show?
Mm-hmm.
And like half of it would be guys fucking just chewing on somebody else.
I mean, listen, I love the sauce. I fucking love the sauce. So it's gone soft. Especially if you watch any of those old games, like the late 80s through like the mid 90s, but like any team with like a Marshall on it, the foul, like what would not get called a foul would get someone like thrown out of a game today.
Well, yeah, and also it's even funnier when you consider...
That's the same for the NBA, too. I think it's a softness across the board in all levels of basketball, too.
Consider the environment in which the game was played. White-hot Cintas crowd. Crazy. Psycho.
It was home cooking tonight.
You're worried about Dan Hurley saying bad words? Like,
I'm so over it. They all need to just shut up and
and that's the thing. Like, we have a little bit of this
And
Midwest.
according to him, what he said was the word unbelievable.
And frankly, it
Wasn't
wasn't
even a cuss word.
unbelievable. It was a shit call.
It was unbelievable, but that was on the back of Peckerhead, fucking clown, and a whole bunch of other things that came, which I get on a level. But like, if you don't want to deal with it, fucking cut it off at the pass.
I guess
right?
here's my other thing
Or
is
go ref A East. Like
this is part of what makes Hurley a great coach. Like, you don't get one without the other. Like, the hothead, passionate coach is part of the reason he's so good at getting his guys to play the way they play. It's why he doesn't like really go after Andre when Andre gets teed up. Like, it's part of the package.
He also made a factual statement for those who didn't see T-God. He is right. Cal Neptune is not Jay Wright. So, as you are learning. You know who else isn't Jay Wright? I want to let Franklin know I was very wrong about Mike Anderson. That's a fucking disaster.
Well, I
They're
appreciate
so
that.
bad.
I appreciate that, Hurley. And
I'm sorry.
I'm not here to hijack a UConn space. I appreciate you letting me speak for a second. And I'm not going to speak about Mike Anderson because that's bullshit. I do want to speak about what you were just talking about because I find the officiating in this conference is absolutely fucking atrocious.
Hell yeah.
And absolutely fucking soft. And the fact that Hurley got a technical for saying the word unbelievable is just wild to me, but also not surprising because I almost got ejected from a game last year as a fan. My seats are 2 rows off the floor at the Garden, and I told Pat Driscoll, I said, Pat Driscoll, you suck after a bad call. And he's literally, after the ball's inbounded, they were shooting free throws when I yelled that. As the ball's being inbounded after the free throws, he's jogging down the court. He turns and looks at me because I'm the only idiot standing up in my section yelling at Pat Driscoll, points at me, and then the next stoppage, he comes over to the usher and tells the usher that if I say anything else, I'm getting ejected. So
yeah, see,
it's
you
not
paid,
just the coaches,
you paid that ticket.
It's fucking ridiculous.
You paid for that ticket.
Yep.
You paid for that ticket so he could shut the fuck up.
Yep.
And go do his job and stop worrying about it. And
I didn't fucking curse because there's kids in the section. I don't curse when I'm yelling at games.
Sucks.
I just said you suck, Pat Driscoll.
Yeah.
And he tried to eject me from a game. These guys, if you can't handle Pat Driscoll, you suck. You don't deserve to be reffing at the high major level. It's
high major, let alone this conference. And this is a thing that's becoming an evolving concern for me, just because it's not even the officiating is like it's like a thing on a list of things that I'm starting to get pissed off about. Like games at 6:30. Fuck that.
Yeah, why are games at 6:30?
Officials that are a fucking daycare teachers. Fuck that. Like there needs to be like Val Ackerman is an incredible commissioner on a variety of levels, right? Like I give her Hurleymania alluded to it. Now the Big Ten job might be coming open. Look out. She's going to be in the conversation for that. Like she's good at her job. She sucks at the entertainment component. And like that's the thing, like as much of a fucking kind of parasite as Bill Tranghese was and all that other stuff, like those guys understood the entertainment value of a college basketball league that I think in this iteration of the Big East is really lacking. And I don't want to listen to these guys fucking conversations about Hurley getting teed up with 2 minutes left or some fucking nonsense. I mean, the conversations that we have in this league, and this is the old fart in me talking, I can't even imagine having them 15, 20 years ago. Like, it is such a departure, even 15, 20, never mind 30 years ago where it was almost detrimentally a free-for-all. There has to be an entertainment value to the league where you let things go and you let things build up and you get coaching rivalries and you build heat. There has to be a professional wrestling twinge to it. That's what adds your value as a television program. And like, yeah, man, it's college sports, but it's also entertainment, and like that aspect needs to be in it. And right now, we sit here and we're like, well, why is college basketball a dwindling demographic? Well, like, I don't give a fuck about anybody that wins the sportsmanship award. I don't want to see that. I want Big East basketball on my fucking television. Like, I want big dudes, athletic guards, being physical, like you call a foul when it's like legitimately a foul. You know what I mean? Like,
No nickel dimers.
yeah, I
No
don't want to
crap.
see this stupid shit where we're like teeing coaches up with 2 minutes to go in big games. Like,
Calling that
let it
moving
fucking
screen
ride.
on a lean that was absolutely bullshit. Like all
Just,
these little ticky-tacky crap.
it's such nonsense that nobody gives a shit
It was
about.
kind of
And
BS, Megan, but it was also kind of not. He did like rock forward after he set the screen, though.
but don't give a shit about a moving fucking screen. Like, they didn't call it fucking the worst moving screen in the entire game was on our end.
Yeah.
When fucking
True.
Fremantle fucking took about 18 steps into Colby Jones, fucking Alex got roasted by 18 feet and then fouled the guy for an on one. It's the worst moving screen call, missed moving screen call I've ever seen all year. I
There
mentioned
was
it,
a
but do you know how much I gave
atrocious
a shit
one in the
about it?
first 3
Do you know
minutes
how
of the
much I
game
gave a
too
shit
by
about it?
Xavier too.
I gave no shits about it. I don't give a fuck about moving screens and the fucking technicalities of the fucking thing that the guy is gonna do. Like, I want to see basketball being played. And if a guy gets rolled off a pick and roll and it's a little moving and some guy eats an elbow in the dick hole, I don't give a fuck. Like, I want to see that. And like, if you want to fight, and it's important, man. Like, I know this stuff seems like aesthetic bullshit, but like, we live in a time and era where like TV eyeballs mean more than any ever before, right? Put out an entertaining product. We're in the largest television market in the world in the Northeast United States and on the East Coast. The world. Give them something to watch and get excited about. I don't give a fuck about SEC basketball. Like, I hope all those hicks get fucking cancer and die. Fuck them. I want to see Big East basketball. The majority of the population of the United States wants to see fucking entertaining basketball. Like, that's what I want to fucking see more than anything. And these guys fucking call moving screens, a little technicalities, going, oh, Coach Hurley called me a peckerhead. And I'm going to go back to my wife and deal with that. Like, I don't give a shit. Fuck you. Like, I want to see entertaining basketball, and I want to see the league office step up and throw the hammercock on the table and be like, this is what we bring to the table. This is entertaining. People want to see this. Like, this has value. And instead, we're like, well, let's play the sportsmanship award, and maybe I'll drink 3 glasses of milk and take 2 Viagra, and I'm fucking tired of it, man. Like, I'm tired of the soft ass Catholic school shit.
I could not agree more. I mean, it's absolutely wild that this league can't grasp the entertainment component of it, and that nobody wants to see a fucking ticky tacky, bump foul called on every fucking possession. There's some games where it's just like, we have 25 fouls called by halftime, and it's like, what the fuck are we doing? We had fucking 50 possessions, and on half of them, you're calling a fucking ticky tacky
Frankly,
bullshit bumping
you're a
foul
St.
or
John's
hand
guy.
check.
You're a St. John's guy in Queens.
That is definitely
Like,
the right opinion.
like, how hard is it to be a basketball fan in Queens to try to make a 6:30 start?
Yeah,
At a fucking basketball
it's
game, a
fucking
live
brutal.
event.
I mean, I live in Jersey. Some days I'm driving all the way from Jersey, cutting out of work at 4:30.
Yeah,
Other
you don't
days
have a shot.
I'm in Manhattan and I'm cutting out at 5 to make sure I get there right before tip. And I mean
God
that's
bless, man.
bullshit. And I mean
God bless.
everybody who
We
knew
got
anything
fucking
about this
cows.
conference
We
knew
have
Xavier
cows
UConn's a big
actually on our
game.
campus, and it's impossible to get to fucking
Yeah.
there for the tip time. Like, I'm so sick of this shit, dude. Fuck Fox. Like, I want somebody in the league office to step up and be like, I want to put an entertaining product out there. Like, I want Sean Miller sweating through every piece of clothing he has and like fucking choking somebody on the sideline. Like, I have so many things that I want. I have a whole list. I want Tony Stubblefield to go fucking berserk one night and kick a hole in the scorer's table. Like, there's so many
You're
things that they
probably
can
gonna
just
get
add.
that.
Yeah,
We
you
are.
might
We're
get
getting
that.
close. We're getting close. But
I
like,
said it
You
earlier
want
today.
Bob
I
Knight
said
throwing chairs across the lane again? That's what
why
you
not, dude? I'll
the Big
fucking take it
East
right off the teeth.
the Big East needs to legislate a dress code that black or dark navy blue quarter zips are just completely banned, because
Yes.
I had a
Can we go
seat
back
10
to
I had a
suit and
seat 10
ties,
rows
please?
behind Sean Miller, and I didn't see a drop of fucking sweat, and it was so disappointing.
I don't
No.
even know if I want suit and ties. I
Yeah,
just
I don't
want
want suit and
fucking.
ties.
You
I
don't
I
like
want I want
suits and
topless,
ties?
and I
I
want
like
barbed wire necklaces.
ties.
That's what I want. I want fucking that and some dynamite. That's what I want. Dynamite, barbed wire necklaces, no shirts, fucking. Can you imagine John Thompson trying to live in this stupid conference? Like,
Franklin, do you want a dynamite Karnaseka at this point? Wait, this is recorded. Don't say that. I mean, what the fuck, man? Like,
I mean, I definitely want the coach fired, and this paper bag in my
yeah, go
profile
with that.
picture.
That works.
This
That's
paper
safe.
bag in my profile picture is not it's not just a profile picture. I'm bringing that paper bag with me on Tuesday night to Karnaseka.
Franklin, gimmick. I'm going to tell you this is one gimmick man to another. Gimmicks work.
Yeah, and the only reason I'm still going to this fucking game is because I have season tickets and I've already fucking paid for them. So I'm not giving this fucking program another dime until Mike Anderson is gone. I mean, I was so fucking happy when I got home from Karnaseka on Wednesday night and I watched the first 12 minutes of the game on All Access and saw just how badly Mike Anderson humiliated himself on national television for every Big East fan and for the whole country to see how much of a fraud this guy is, how much of a fraud his no losing seasons record is. Honestly, if I ever hear the no losing seasons record thing
Hi.
again, I'm gonna walk down the fucking aisle and punch that announcer in the face. I sit 2 rows behind the announcers at MSG. If I overhear them saying that during an
It will
MSG
come
game,
up.
I will fucking choke them out right there on live television because it's such a bullshit, fraudulent
God, man,
record. He's played
anger is
cupcakes
such
his
a
whole
gift.
career. I have Arkansas fans telling me he's always scheduled cupcake schedules. And like you look at the two guys he's compared to in that sentence, Mark Few and Tom Izzo. Tom Izzo's won national championship. Mark Few's been to multiple Final Fours. And Mike Anderson's been to one Elite Eight 15 fucking years ago, and I never hear the fucking end of it. And it's like, it's just the most frustrating thing in the world. And this fucking program, the administration, for 25 fucking years now, they've made the wrong decision at every possible juncture. You would think just once maybe they would get lucky and not make the wrong decision, but literally, if you were trying to tank a program, you couldn't have done better than the St. John's administration has done if you were intentionally trying to tank a program the last 25 years. It's fucking pathetic and it's frustrating, and Mike Anderson's just the latest iteration of them fucking everything up.
Franklin, it's long past time to do the right thing and make Mike Francesa the head coach of St. John's men's basketball.
Honestly, he couldn't be worse than Mike Anderson. So
I'll
fuck
get
it.
him Sweet 16 minimum 3 years. Okay, minimum.
I'm
I mean,
trying to think.
Have
Like,
Chris
I
Russo
don't.
as his
If you guys whiffed on Rick Pitino, who would be like your guy?
my guy, I like Matt Langle. I think he knows the fucking game, and then you'd have
That's a
to
good
pair
team.
him up with an elite
Mike
recruiting
Langle's good.
assistant. But I think he's a hell of a coach, so that would be my top realistic choice after Patino and probably Mike
I
Boynton.
love the dude at Oklahoma State coming back home too.
Yeah. I mean, Mike Boynton's my second choice, but he has an $11.5 million buyout at the end of the year this year, so I just don't
Good
think
luck.
that's realistic for us.
I thought today I really thought about an hour after our game, everyone's going to have to stop bitching real quick because between Houston at home against UCF and what Oklahoma State was doing in Kansas, I actually for 20 minutes was like, UConn might actually move up to number 1 in Ken Palm, and everyone's going to be everyone's going to be livid.
It's going to make the Providence fans so mad, but then they have to be like, yeah, but we get the number 1 team in the country coming to our building on Wednesday.
Still thinking about going Wednesday, but it's going to cost me like $100 to go.
It's going to cost you $100. You're probably going to get assaulted.
I've seen it. Look, we're undefeated there when I'm there. I mean, it was 2005, but I've seen it. Honestly, I want to go because of what you said in your earlier space, dude. Like, I will not participate in a fight. I do not want to fight. I am a lover, not a fighter. But absolutely, that crowd's going to be fucking ridiculous.
What's going to be funny is they're absolutely expecting that to be a 90% Providence crowd. It's going to be about a fucking 30% Providence crowd.
They're not going to be able to do the math because they sold so many season tickets this year, and they did, and yet it will still be a 50-50 crowd. So they're going to be livid before the game even starts. Just
Again, why are we having games with two East Coast opponents start at 8:30 p.m.? That makes no sense.
See, I don't mind that as much.
I'm fine with 8:30. It's 6:30. That's fucking fucking. By the way, nobody's at home to watch a game at 6:30. I don't get what the point is.
Yep.
I get 8 o'clock. 8:30 is when it's like weird. But
no,
I just want somebody. Just hire me, Val Ackerman. Hire me to be the director of Big East Entertainment. That's what I will do. I'll hand barbed wire baseball bats out to all the coaches. I will enact a 64 human burrito roll competition. I will institute some account on Twitter, probably T-God, to be like the dartboard for the year. Like, you just send them to different places. You can throw actual physical darts at them. Like, I got a lot of ideas. I got a lot of creativity in here that is just dying to get out. I want to make this the Big East again. I'm sorry. I'm so sick and tired of this being like the big clean East. I don't want it to be that. I want it to be the good sportsmanship conference.
You're already mad. I'm going to make you madder. I got to bring him in from one Hall High alum to the other. T-God, it's over. You're fucking done as a program. Discuss.
Oh, is it T-God's time?
Yeah, well, it's not Villanova's time anymore, so I'll give you a couple minutes.
Come on, Hurley. You don't got to do that to me. Hey, Hotballs, I know you're scared to talk to me, buddy. What's going on? Why are you scared?
Nobody's scared to talk to you, dude.
No,
I absolutely roasted
heard you earlier
and dumped you in the Hudson River last year. You're dead. Welcome back. You're like a fucking 15-year-old hot dog that won't digest.
T-God, which was your favorite?
Welcome back to the land of the living, man.
What was your favorite post on the Vox Nova site where you were talking about firing Kyle Neptune? Because those were all fucking you.
Hurley,
let's be honest.
Like Hurleymania, you lost today too, so we're not talking about Nova.
I know.
All right.
That's fair.
I know, but we're not 7-7.
Fuck. Yeah, but you haven't won fucking 2 national championships in the past 10 years, right?
You're 7-7.
But we're still we are still the king of the Big East, dummy.
Yeah, but we've won more national championships than you have, so
right, buddy. And then you went to the AAC, and then you were a fucking failure. So
yeah, T-God, none of us wanted that shit. And by the way, yeah, we haven't won 2 in the last 10 years. We've won 2 in the last 11. I mean, fair point.
First of all, Hurleymania. Exactly, I thought we were cool. Hurleymania, MisterHotBalls.
Cool, man.
You're scared to talk to me, you fucking pussy.
Nobody's scared to talk to
you
Shut
are.
the fuck up, dude. Just go to bed. Get a life.
All right. I tried.
This guy sucks. This guy sucks.
No, I literally forced your mouth open with forceps last year during the fucking Big East tournament and shit into your fucking intestines. And you shit my shit out. So go fuck yourself. If you haven't thought about it, think about suicide, ass clown. You should, because you're a fucking mess.
I now know what it feels like at the UN when you're trying to facilitate Middle East, fucking peace. Jesus Christ!
Or try and keep Russia from invading Ukraine too.
I'm mad at myself, honestly, for thinking that would go any fucking differently.
Wait, we're still doing a show?
Yeah. Hi, what's up? Yeah,
hey, what's up, man? Did you just wake up?
I've been in and out. That sounded like a hostile one.
The thing that kept it going was having the actual good people like Megan and Franklin and Bill and people in here. Like, I'm bringing nothing to the table. So,
did I snore at any point? I apologize if I did.
No, you didn't. You were actually very quiet.
Did not.
You didn't snore, but you brought up a very interesting youth entertainment point.
Wait, really? That was definitely a dream. Tell me more.
Yeah, no, you woke up. We talked about some youth entertainment, and then and then you swore to God that you were awake, and then you disappeared for another. You never muted yourself though, and you didn't snore.
Fuck, I probably had some good shit in there too.
Well, I'm recording the space, so I'll have to.
Nobody overthinks anything quite like you do. So, like, that's the best part. Like, especially when you speak in your sleep or you do something weird as fuck on Spaces. Like, there's no replacement for you, man.
Sage, I think it was like in the 1:15 to 1:30 time range.
All right.
Could have been a little earlier.
I might go back and find it for you. I'm probably I gotta cut.
Yeah, man, I'm gonna go back to dreaming. I'll keep it alive though.
All right, thanks, buddy. Hotballs, you kind of alluded to something, and Franklin's here about like Big East entertainment. So I don't know if anybody
Alluded
else
to
is.
something. I mean, I ranted about it for 25 minutes.
Okay,
So
well, I was.
that'd be a little bit more
I don't know
alluding
if.
to it.
I mean, I'm sure nobody is. One of the weird things I was briefly into was the America's Cup. I don't know if anybody is familiar with that. The deed of merit, which is the technical term for the rules they do for each America's Cup contest. I'm gonna need that to lay out the rules of your hot dog eating challenge with DePaul.
I don't know. Should I go hot dog eating or should we go burrito roll?
No, it's got to be. Well, you want to meet him on his level, you said.
Yeah, I mean, I don't care. I'll go hot dog eating contest. I'll choke to
Because
death.
it's one of these fucking Chicago weirdos, so I gotta know what kind of hot dogs are we talking?
I like
What are the
Chicago dogs. I've
buns?
been on the record about that. I know you got really mad at me about that for 5 seconds one time on the internet, but I can take these guys. I mean, I think we need to get a commission together. We need to have some rules, some contests. I think there needs to be like almost like an Olympics. You know, we do it at the Big East tournament, right? We get a lot of different representatives from different teams. I mean, we have a variety of events, right? Because there's all kinds of athletes in the Big East. There's hot dog eaters, there's burrito rollers, you know, there's guys that just come onto the internet and get really mad. You know, like there's a lot of things that you can do. I mean, we could have like a whole Olympics here. Like we could light a cauldron. It'd probably just be like a shitty Langhorne grill, you know, but like there's a lot that we could do on this. Like we get, you know, there could be some nunchuck twirlers at Georgetown that we just don't know about. Like all sorts of people have talents. There's Bill James used to say it best. He goes, "Talent lies around us in gigantic unused heaps."
I refuse to let a Big East hot dog eating contest occur without my participation. So count me in whenever
Yeah,
this happens.
yeah.
I will do a hot dog
Franklin's
eating
in.
contest anytime, anywhere, and I will fucking win.
Yeah, I mean, we could do axe throwing. I mean, there's so many different ways that we could hurt ourselves as a community.
The
That
100 meter seat hurdle starring Cody.
Oh my god, dude, Cody is terrible at the hurdles. Like even taking a basic step down.
He's so passed out right now. He's smarter than the rest of us, honestly.
Where is Cody? Is he in here still?
Oh no, he's very drunk somewhere in Northeast Pennsylvania.
Probably sleeping in some dumpster somewhere next to fucking Vito's fucking titty bar.
No, Franklin, the key is going to be establishing the rules of the hot dog contest because we got too many different fucking opinions in this league of what makes a hot dog. And I'm not against any of them, just Chicago. But we need to. It has to be one established type because you're gonna have.
Where I come from, a hot dog is a Nathan's hot dog, and I mean I think that should be the standard for any hot dog eating contest. I mean, the Nathan's hot dog eating contest is the gold standard of hot dog eating contests, so that should be the hot dog.
But if we're trying to think about the benefit of the greater society, and we're looking at it from a social justice perspective, because DePaul has been on the low end of the stick for so long, would it be greater Big East justice for them to be able to eat the kinds of hot dogs that they want? Like these are really deep conversations that everybody needs to get into. There's got to be, and then we've got to find out, like, are there Butler fans outside of just like
we met
Yuli and that other fucking weird girl that got really mad at me because I said that there weren't. Like, there is a lot that we've got to unpack here. I think the Big East office should call a summit, to be honest, of the people that really matter, which are the people that have anonymous accounts on Twitter.com.
And like face masks, the whole thing.
I mean, I'm officially an anonymous account now, so I guess that includes me.
Yeah, and like, what do we win at the end? Like, what do you get? Like, I would like it if Val Ackerman hit me with a steel chair in the head.
Yeah, if you make her understand there's a payoff for her at the end of this, I think this is doable.
I mean, I think she would do it. I think she could swing a good chair. Right off but I don't want her to hit me like, like smack dab on the head like they do in pro wrestling. I want her to take the side of the chair.
Oh no, I want you to
aim right for my teeth and just go right there. I don't even need teeth. I mean, Donovan Klingon inspired me this year. Teeth are for pussies. Don't need those to eat. I don't want my teeth anymore, so I will sacrifice my choppers for the greater cause.
I was because I really do need to go to bed. BK, requests to come in. The man's a UI developer. I feel like his skills, BK, you can bring something unique to this proposal.
Oh no, I don't have anything to add to this. This is great, but I might have like mistakenly bought some tickets to the Omaha game in February, and I've never been to Omaha, and I'm trying to figure out what the hell to do there. It's a new game.
HotBalls?
Like, what's going on in Omaha?
Well, like if it was in June, I would totally recommend going to the College Baseball World Series, but it's not in June. So I would say I would eat some barbecue, go to a local bar, get all lubed up, go to I don't know. Who's guys that you would want to visit in Omaha? Who's a big investor guy again at Berkshire Hathaway? Because I'm drunk and I can't.
Warren Buffett.
Go to Warren Buffett's house, stick him
His
up,
house?
get as much money as you can, and just go on the lam. That's what I would do in Omaha.
All right. All before noon, right? Right. Yeah. But like,
yeah, you don't need the afternoon to go on the run, dude.
No. We sleep in the afternoon, but I mean,
we sleep in May. The whole thing.
Yeah, right. We sleep in May, but I guess
well,
like Creighton fans
enjoy that, BK.
Creighton fans can't be that like mean, right? Like, I'm flying solo to this thing. I'm just, I just dived headfirst right into some lower bowl tickets. So,
wow,
like
that's impressive. The one thing to keep an eye out for is if it's the dollar beer night game, which I don't think at noon it would be, but it would be the logical game to pick for them. They do one game a year where it's dollar beer night, and it's a complete fucking catastrophe there. So you might want to look out for that.
I would imagine the dollar beer night is more like a time when St. John's or DePaul or Georgetown is visiting, as opposed
they
to
did it with us last year
with UConn.
I mean, bringing the number 2 team in to Omaha for
it's
dollar
going to
beer
be
night.
us. They're going to dollar beer night the shit out of us, especially if we absolutely boat race them at home. We're getting dollar beer night. There's no doubt about it. They have to. It's the only right way to do things.
Oh god,
I wouldn't even besmirch them for it. I wouldn't be mad about it. They have to.
My limited interaction with Creighton fans is they're like the nicest people on earth. They're all just Midwestern, nice, stereotypical people.
See, I think a lot of the Creighton fans are kind of assholes, to be honest with you. I think they are, and I like some of them, but like they definitely have some of our older fans in here.
HotBalls.
What's up?
Oh, Sage had started snoring.
Yeah, I heard it.
Oh, it's so adorable. This is great.
It was the perfect ending. Sorry, go ahead on Creighton.
Oh, there it is.
There it is. Shh, be quiet.
Roll over, little guy. Come on.
Come on, man. Go. Do it.
Oh my god.
I just want to rip a huge one. It's gonna be the greatest thing.
I just want to poke him one time, just so I know if we just got him at the right angle, he'd just be sawing him off, dude.
All I know is that if this was like in person right now, HotBalls would be like putting shaving cream in.
Oh yeah. The guy's got 40 years of baseball prankery. It's
like
fucking
dipping
dangerous.
hands in cold water, like all of it.
That guy, HotBalls has
set hot foot galore.
So
yeah,
no, we went on a road trip a couple years ago up to Burlington, Vermont when they first came into our league. And so they're like 3.5 hours away. So it's like, it's not too far to like do like a legit road trip, but it's like too far to do like an up and back kind of thing. Like we only try to do it once a year. So we usually try to bang out 2-3 games in a row when we go up there. So my manager went up there. I actually managed to get all of the furniture in the hotel room stacked on top of him while he was passed out in bed. So like the desk chairs, like the fucking armoires, like I had the bed sheets from the other bed. Like I took the shower curtain off. Like I had the fucking TV in there. Like
How fucking heavy of a sleeper is this guy?
Oh, dude, he was out. Like I created a little shell around him, kind of a protective, so he didn't die. But he could have. I think I have the picture. I got to find the picture here. I got to see if I got it on my phone. But yeah, I mean, I fucked this shit up pretty bad.
dies in a Jordan's furniture accident.
Dude, it was stacked to the ceiling. Like, I'm not even kidding. Like, we took all the dresser drawers out and stacked them on top of him. Like,
Oh God, that's
he was
great.
so well. You go to, look, for anybody that hasn't been there, downtown Burlington can be an adventure on a Friday, Saturday night, and it wasn't doing so hot.
Oh God
And
damn
then
it, we lost him.
I'm here. Can you hear me?
No, not you. Fucking
I
Sage.
think his wife was probably like, enough of this.
Yeah. How many cutoffs do you think she's given him, man? Oh my goodness. Like,
Yeah.
but he probably lives in some shoebox New York City apartment, so they're probably like all on top of each other, making millions and millions of dollars.
$84,000 a month.
Yeah, he probably makes like $20 million a year and lives in like an 84 square foot apartment in New York.
Oh man. All right. Well, I'm gonna hit the hay. It was wonderful bringing in the new year with all of you.
Make me host. I don't give a shit. I'm just
Oh
gonna
fuck
hang
it.
out.
All right. Yeah.
I don't
I'll
have
make
anything
you
else
host.
to do.
I'll make you host.
I got 2 more beers, so I'm gonna finish my beers and then we'll call it a night.
All right, man.
I'm hitting the hay too. It was a pleasure. Thanks for letting me speak,
I
Hurley.
made
And it was a pleasure to be
Hotballs. I
in
made you a co-host, so go nuts.
a
Have a good
quality
night, everyone.
space for once.
We'll see if this works when
Be
Hurleymania
well,
is here.
Franklin, keep your head up. I don't know what to tell you. It's you'll get there.
All right, we'll see if this holds up. If Hurleymania doesn't fuck this up, he leaves.
I fucking made you the co-host. I don't fucking know. I'm not. You're the one giving Elon money. Don't look at. Fucking...
You're like the queen alien. Like, if you go, do we stop laying eggs?
Oh God, there's a fucking visual. Jesus Christ. God Almighty.
I like that movie.
How many? Wait, what beer are you rocking anyway? What's your New Year beer?
Actually, I'm glad that you asked me. I am going with a little White Lion. I'm going local in Springfield. I had a little Thunder Boom. Had 5 of those, and now I'm going in on the little White Lion Super Dank. How Western Mass is that? Super dank, bro. Super dank, bro.
Hotballs, is it at the number that you were when I got you that car bomb the other night?
No, I don't know. Wait, how many were we at when I car bombed the other night?
I'm glad you remember being car bombed the other night because I remember it and I didn't know if you would.
Did I get car bombed the other night? I don't remember getting car bombed.
Very much
I literally
got
brought
car
it
bombed.
to you. And
I did a Bailey and Armorettos.
Hotballs. Yes, you got car bombed. I was staring at it.
Yeah, awesome.
It was Vaughn's. Yeah.
Yes, it was at Vaughn's. It was about 11:15 when this happened, or like 10:30.
Yeah, that's the thing. It wasn't that late, but we crammed a lot of drinking into a small amount of time.
Yeah, I mean, I had a great night.
Yeah, you did. You did. Publicly and privately.
I did. I had a fun time. Nobody has more fun at UConn games than I do.
I don't think anybody denies that. Fuck.
You.
Yeah, squeeze every drop out of it that you can get. That's what I tell everybody.
All right.
Okay,
well,
who's sleeping?
Who was that?
Let's see if this works.
Is Basil asleep? He's the only one off mute. He might be sleeping. We'll see if this works. Hit the nuclear detonation device, Hurleymania. Here we go, people. This could be the end of us. What is going on here? What's he doing? What are we doing?
He may have just muted.
Just muted and went to bed. Did he just leave his phone somewhere? What a cop out. All right, so I'm drinking some super dank. What's everybody else drinking tonight on New Year's Eve?
I am not. I had a Manhattan and then I had a Sam Adams. Back in the last year.
I stopped drinking Sam Adams a long time ago because Sam Adams makes me fart.
Yeah, that is pretty true. But...
Makes me fart a lot, actually. I had some Boston lagers in the past, and Boston lager, like, he gives me these like aluminum smelling farts. It's really weird. It's all fucked up. I don't like
Bill,
Sam Adams anymore.
while you're here, my father, who's named Bill, who also lives in Bristol, who I got him a Klingon shirt for Christmas, is convinced someone's going to confuse him with you. in Bristol at some point this year.
The Bills of Bristol. That's like the Housewives of New Jersey.
He is 6'8".
The Bills of wow, really? With the
Yes.
Bills of Bristol. This is
We need a new T-shirt.
Yeah,
Bristol.
it'll probably happen. You know, if he's 6'8", yeah, I would imagine.
You guys are gonna have to get some cosmetic surgery with each other.
Well-
You know, like get some lip implants and stuff like that to like differentiate yourselves. Become a fashionista, Bill.
I think this was before you started listening to Spaces, but I've said it a couple times. He was a tri-captain at Harvard in '88. So he played D1 ball from 85 through 88. I mean, 84.
And I can tell you with all the confidence in the world, nobody listening to this space ever went to Harvard.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely. But I'm saying, you
especially
asked me. 6'8". I was telling you that what he did with his 6'8" height. So
good for him.
Yeah,
Ivy League guy.
I wasn't good. So,
Bill, what were your New Year's Eve plans
other
than sitting at home and stewing over the loss tonight? What did you do for New Year's tonight? Did you?
Nothing. I sat home and I just watched the game. And bought myself some shrimp, had some shrimp cocktail, and just
there you go.
That was it, man. I got no life, dude.
Yeah, no, I feel like that's everybody on Big East Twitter. I just felt like everybody was shut in tonight and just getting angry that people were enjoying New Year's. That's what I felt like doing. That's what I felt. That was a vibe I got from everybody tonight.